You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion new single, my hater, the big better put on the road, I just spit. I know we got $1 million, the devil, that shit, and I cheap it again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 7th part of, What If Naruto Enters Witch? Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of pyrohelixdrago, co-written with KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Dealership in the city. Seriously, why do you need a car again? Will asked curiously as she looked at some new and used cars. "'Cause I need one," Naruto said, not mentioning the scary meeting he had with Terrani's mom as he looked at some cars. "That scared of Terrani's mom, huh?" Will said with a smirk. "How the hell do you know about that?" Naruto asked, turning toward Will, who was on the other side of a car he was looking at. "Terrane told me when she called me to see if you were okay," Will said as she found it hilarious when Terrane told her about her mother's reaction to meeting Naruto. "Great, the girl I'm into is a gossip," Naruto thought, mentally sighing. "Hello young man, how might I be able to assist you?" a man said, wearing a blue business suit, having slick black hair, smelling like an expensive cologne. "Just looking at some cars, I want to buy one," Naruto said, knowing the man would see this as an opportunity to make a quick buck. The man just smiled like he was told the greatest thing in the world. "Well, why are you out here looking at these cars?" he said, motioning to all the used cars in the lot, "when you can get a brand new one just inside," he said as he pointed to a few cars that were able to be seen through the glass. Inside the dealership. "So young man, what kind of car are you looking for?" the man asked, wanting to know what Naruto was looking for. "Something fast and reliable," Naruto said, finding those the most important. "And safe," Will said, wanting her boyfriend to be driving something safe. "Can never be wrong with safe," the man said, laughing a little. "So how about we go look at some sports and muscle cars," he said, bringing them to the other side of the dealership. Few minutes later. Naruto and Will looked at some of the cars there and a book showing different models of the cars, which were a Corvette, a Benz, a Camaro, and a Dodge. "These are really cool cars," Will said, impressed by their design and horsepower. "Well young man, what car is it gonna be?" the man asked, wondering which car he would pick. Naruto looked through the book to find a car that caught his interest earlier, and when he finally got to the page he showed it to the man. "Oh, a Camaro, not a bad pick, it's a really good looking car. I'm actually a fan of Bumblebee from the Transformers movies, and this car is exactly like the one in the Dark of the Moon," the man said, admiring Naruto's taste. "Now we have this car, but it needs some work done," he said as he needed to inform Naruto of the state and status of the car. "That's fine, I was gonna have someone look at it and see if he could tune it up," Naruto said as he wanted to have the car looked at. "Okay, the car costs about 26 grand, the man said as Naruto took out his checkbook and wrote down the price of the car. "I'll be right back to confirm this check," the man said, making a call, and after a few minutes he went to the back and held out a piece of paper and car keys for Naruto. "Alright, you're all set, here you go, just sign this and you'll be able to leave with your car," he said as Naruto read and filled out the paper, leaving with Will outside walking to the car. "Hey Naruto," Will said, getting his attention as he opened the car. "Yeah, what's up?" Naruto said as he examined the car as he and Will got inside. "Where are we going next?" Will asked curiously. "To this guy, I know, he's the one that gave me my motorcycle and your Vespa and gave them some major modifications," Naruto said, wanting his car to also be tuned up. Later at the garage. "Kid, I gotta say this is a nice car, so what kind of modifications do you want?" the man said as he knew Naruto only wanted him to look through the car's engine and see if any improvements could be made. "Well, what do you recommend?" Naruto asked, knowing as he knew the man knew best. "Well, I can tune up the engine, add in some armor, give you some racing brakes that'll stop on a dime, bring down the suspension, add in a turbo, some dark-tinted windows, leather seats, and some vertical doors, the man said, listing the things he could do. Sure, all of that. Also, can you give it a paint job, black being primary and orange as the secondary, Naruto said, wanting the car to be in his favorite color scheme. Alright, I can start now and it'll be done in a few hours, the man said, already getting ready to start. Okay, Naruto said as he left to get Will, who was waiting outside. Phobos Castle. Symbols of Elion's body, mind, and spirit, Phobos said, pouring Elion's breath into a container that held symbols of her mind and body. As the container grew brighter, a golden crown that had a red jewel. The ceremony is now complete, my lord. According to the ancient ways, her resistance to crossing will now be lowered, Cedric said, from what he understood from the ancient texts. But only for a while. You must now tell my sister who she really is, Princess of Meridian, then bring her here, Phobos said in urgency as time was of the essence. I've already set a plan in motion, Cedric said as he carefully planned a way to convince Elion to question everything about her life, leaving her susceptible to believing in what he tells her. After the coronation, all her powers will be mine, Phobos said, laughing maniacally. Next day, across the street from the bookstore, a Naruto clone was currently watching Elion, as the original made sure to monitor her before she reached school as a precaution in case Phobos tried to send any of his forces after her. Something's really off with that guy, Naruto thought, as his previous encounter with the man seemed kinda off, and the way he talked to Elion after Cornelia left made him seem somewhat suspicious. The Naruto clone just observed Elion till she left for school. Maybe I should check on Cornelia, the clone thought, seeing as she looked troubled when she left the bookstore and was only a few blocks away. After jumping a few roofs, Naruto saw Cornelia walking towards school looking distracted. The clone jumped down from the roof it was currently on, landing a few feet from Cornelia. Hey Cornelia, he said, not even surprising her. Hey, Cornelia replied nonchalantly, still having a lot of things on her mind. She's gonna be fine, we'll protect her, Naruto said, basically knowing what's on Cornelia's mind. How can you be so sure? Cornelia said, a little desperate for an answer. 'Cause she has you, Naruto said, because he knew how protective she was of Elion, and you'll do everything you can to protect her, but you'll also have me and the girls, he said with a smile, as it was nice to see such a strong bond between friends and how protective they were of each other. Can I ask you something? Cornelia asked, wondering something that's been on her mind about him. You just did, Naruto said, making a joke, but received no laughs from Cornelia. Sure, go ahead, he said, wondering what she might ask. Why are you so protective of everyone? Cornelia asked, as she often wondered why he helped so many people. Naruto actually took a moment to think about that, as the answer was both simple and complex. It's 'cause I want to protect the people I care for, because they're important and give me the strength to keep on fighting, he said, giving her the best explanation he could. Man, he's so nice, it's actually scary sometimes, Cornelia thought, wondering why she was even suspicious him. Fortress-like temple in an unknown location. This boy seems to have a good heart and a strong sense of protection for those he cares for, the oracle said, feeling a little relieved. I still believe he should be monitored, as we still know nothing about him, Luba said, still hating the fact that a child possessed so much power. True, we may not know of his origins, but he has yet to prove of any danger, the oracle said, keeping a positive outlook. I must keep using the Earth Guardian to keep a closer eye on him, Luba thought, as she has been making the Earth Guardian feel a sense of paranoia toward Naruto. We must keep a watchful eye on this one oracle, we still know nothing of the power he wields, she said, feeling anxious as to what his power was. That may be true, but I believe the answer to that shall be revealed in time, the oracle said, putting his wisdom to good use. Oracle, I have devised a way to at least contain his power should the opportunity present itself, Luba said, taking out an empty glowing sphere. The oracle was surprised by what he saw. Luba, you created an Oromir, why? He asked, curious to what the purpose was. For when the boy next uses his powers, we can use this empty Oromir to try and trace where it may have originated from, Luba said, as every power had a source and had some origin. Luba, this is an extreme measure to take, and you do know magical powers cannot be taken, the oracle said, knowing the principles of magic. Yes, but it is possible to capture it, and once the boy uses his power we'll be able to at least capture a small amount of it, Luba said, wanting answers. The oracle could only nod as his powers of predicting the future have yet to return. Heatherfield Institute. Don't forget class tomorrow is Parents' Night, Mr. Collins says as the bell rings signaling the end of class. Parents' Night, Naruto thought a little sadly being reminded of his life as an orphan. While he was distracted by his own thoughts he failed to notice Will walking right up to him noticing the sad look on his face. Hey, you okay? She asked a little worried for him. Yeah, I'm fine, Naruto said unsure if that was the truth or not. Will couldn't believe that as she saw the pained look in his eyes so she grabs his hand and gently holds it. If you need someone to talk to I'm here, she said wanting him to know she was there for him. Naruto gave her a sad smile in appreciation. What did I ever do to get such an amazing girlfriend, he said to her making her smile and blush a little. Easy you were yourself, Will said noticing they were the only ones in the classroom. Now come on let's go, she said as they left the classroom. Few minutes later outside. Parents' Night tomorrow food, art, fun, Terrarium said in a sarcastic tone of voice as she played ball with Irma, Cornelia, and Hey Lin. Yeah, parents at school that says fun to me, Irma says doing some tricks with the ball. I know I can't wait to show them my history report and my science project and the inside of my locker, Hey Lin said excited to show her parents her progress in school as she received the ball. Mine will spend the whole night pushing back my hair and saying, why do you want to hide that pretty face? Cornelia said imitating her mother, could anything be less cool, she said not looking forward to tonight. Try your mother bringing in cookies with your name on them, her pet name from when you were a baby, Irma said kicking the ball to Hey Lin. Does Schmoopy Pants fit a cookie? Hey Lin asked actually wanting to know. Droopy Pants, Irma said in a whiny tone as she was embarrassed. Oh that's much less humiliating, Hey Lin said in a sarcastic tone. Well at least my grades are better, Will said as she and Naruto walked toward the girls. Told you that you were getting better, Naruto said as he held Will's math test which had a B+ on it. Well at least my mom will be off my case, Will said relieved that all of Naruto's tutoring was paying off. Hey girls what's up? Naruto said as they reached the girls. As they greeted each other they failed to see Elian approach from the distance. Hey Elian, Naruto said seeing her approach. Elian sent him a smirk as she still liked him, but that smirk soon turned to a small frown as she soon saw Will standing right next to him and was reminded that she missed her opportunity to be with him. Oh hey Elian, Cornelia said as the others soon greeted her as well. Don't let me interrupt you, Elian said brushing right past them. We need to tell her. Cornelia said whispering to Will sounding a little desperate. No she'd freak which is just what Phobos needs to swoop in Naruto and Blunk have it under control, Will said seriously knowing it would cause only problems. Students ahem, Knickerbocker said clearing her throat as she approached the group. Well local merchants have once again donated generously to our Parents' Day festivities. We got this darling assortment of paper cups from Cup City, she said speaking like she was in the olden day while also showing childish paper cups. Nothing says party like Three Little Pigs, Irma said sarcastically. And these family tree charts donated by a local bookstore which I want you to fill out with your parents attaching photos of your relatives, Knickerbocker said giving each of them a sheet of paper. Great, Naruto thought thank getting another reminder of him being orphan. I'd rather shave my head and wear clown shoes to the prom, Cornelia said as she found this pointless and had too much on her mind. Miss Knickerbocker? Will said getting her attention. Yes dear. Knickerbocker said wondering what she needed. Does Naruto really need to do this? Will asked making the other girls curious. And why wouldn't he? Knickerbocker asked raising an eyebrow. Because I'm an orphan, Naruto said calmly surprising the other girls besides Will. Oh, Mr. Namikaze you don't have to do this assignment if you don't want to, Knickerbocker said feeling a little bad as she thought she brought up unpleasant memories for Naruto. It's fine, Naruto said still keeping his calm demeanor walking away. Once Naruto was gone the girls surrounded Will. He's an orphan. Hey Lin asked as Naruto never told her that when he lived with her. Yeah he is, Will said sighing as she knew they would ask a lot of questions. Since when? Cornelia asked feeling sorry for him. Since the first day he was born, Will said as Naruto told her more about his parents. Geez, Irma said, wondering how he held it together so well. But he was adopted, right? Terrane asked, or rather hoped, since he of all people deserved happiness. Will just shook her head, making them all feel a little bad. Later at the end of the school day, as everyone started to leave school, Naruto could be seen on the roof of the school looking at the sunset, having a distant look in his eyes. Do a flip. Jiraiya yelled with his groupies. Shut the hell up and take a break from being in, but, Will said, dashing inside, running up to the roof. Hey Will, Naruto said as he didn't even need to turn around to know it was Will. Hey, what ya doing up here? Will asked curiously, wondering why he was up here. Oh, I was watching the sunset. It was something I did as a kid to calm down, Naruto said, as it was something he used to do whenever he felt down. Jump you PP. I'll catch you. Not. Jiraiya yelled, laughing along with his little cronies. Didn't I say take a break? Will yelled as they laughed at her. Jiraiya, F off and take your SHT somewhere else, she yelled, having enough of Jiraiya's constant CRP. Naruto started laughing, hearing his girlfriend curse out the school's resident douchebag. Holy CRP, that was awesome, he said, chuckling. Thanks, Will said, glad that Naruto thought she was cool. So you wanna talk? She asked, wanting him to open up to her. It's just really hard sometimes, you know, to be reminded that I'm an orphan, Naruto said, sadly remembering his lonely childhood. Listen, Will said, taking both his hands with her own, whenever you feel down I'll be there to talk, she said, wanting him to know she was there for him. You're the best, Naruto said, giving her a hug. So what are you gonna be doing tonight? Will asked curiously. I'm gonna be at parents' night, Naruto said, confusing Will. Why? Will asked curiously, wondering why he'd show up. 'Cause I need to keep an eye on Elian. I'm not sending a clone just to get a headache later on, Naruto said, as he was tired of the headaches and the strain from the clones watching Elian. Okay, I guess I'll see you there, Will said, giving him a quick peck on the cheek. Later at school. This'll be interesting, Naruto said, mumbling to himself as he watched Elian storm away from her parents. Hi Mr. and Mrs. Brown, can I take a moment of your time? He asked, walking up to them. I suppose, but who are you? Mr. Brown asked, curious to who he was. My name is Naruto. I'm friends with your daughter, Naruto said, introducing himself to Elian's parents. Ah, I know you. You're the one who took her to the carnival, Mrs. Brown said, as Elian told her about it before she went. Yeah, that's me, Naruto said with a small smile. So I was just wondering if I can ask you some things about Meridian, he said, seriously, making them tense up. I am sorry. Mrs. Brown asked, hoping she heard wrong. I wanna ask you some things about Meridian because Phobos is coming after Elian, Naruto said, hoping that they won't panic in a public scene. How do you know this? Who are you? Mr. Brown said, glaring at Naruto, who was unfazed by it. I'm her friend, and so are the guardians of the veil. We want to protect her, but you need to trust me, Naruto said, motioning for them to follow him as he walked to somewhere more private. After they left the gym, they just stood there in an empty hallway. You said Phobos is after my daughter? Mr. Brown said, not beating around the bush. Yeah, he is. He already started the ceremony to lower her resistance to crossing the veil, Naruto said, bringing them up to speed. Oh no, Mrs. Brown said, as she knew it was only a matter of time. We need to find her, Mr. Brown said, ready to take Elian as far away as possible. Yeah, me and the girls have been watching her and we need to keep her as safe as possible, so I'm warning you to keep a lookout, Naruto said, as he knew they had every right to protect their daughter. Thank you for telling us this. We're in your debt, Mrs. Brown said as she hugged him. Yes, thank you, young man, Mr. Brown said, shaking Naruto's hand. No problem, Naruto said as he watched the parents quickly run back to look for their daughter. Hope I helped keep her safe at least, he thought, as he knew he was taking a huge risk with the parents walking away. As Naruto walked down the hall, he saw Cornelia and her whole family waiting online to go see a teacher. Hey Cornelia, he said as he waved at her. Oh hey, you're that boy from before, Lillian said, waving at him, trying to remember his name as she was sure she heard his name before. Oh hey, Naruto said, getting on one knee so he was at her. You're Lillian, right? he asked, wanting to make sure he got her name right. Yeah, Lillian exclaimed, excited that he remembered her name. Well, hello young man, nice to meet you, my name is Elizabeth Hale, Elizabeth said, introducing herself, and this is my husband Harold Hale, she said, introducing her husband. Pleasure, Harold said, holding out his hand, which Naruto shook. So Naruto, what's up? Cornelia said, wanting him to leave as her parents could embarrass her at any second. Cornelia saying his name was all Lillian needed to remember something. Oh, you're the guy that saved Cornelia's life, she said, getting everyone's attention. How? Naruto and Cornelia thought, wondering how the hell Lillian knew that. Sweetie, what are you talking about? Elizabeth asked in both worry and curiosity to what her daughter was referring to as everyone moved away from the line. Well, I read Cornelia's diary. You what? Lillian was saying till Cornelia screamed, finding out that her sister read her diary, and I read that Naruto saved you, she said, not knowing the significance of what she just said. What else was in that diary? Naruto thought, wondering if he should be worried. Cornelia Hale, what is she talking about? Elizabeth asked in a demanding tone, giving her daughter a look. Well, during that ski trip I went ice skating and fell through the ice and Naruto saved me, Cornelia said, giving them a short explanation of what happened. Why didn't you tell us? Harold asked, curious as to why his daughter didn't tell them. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry, Cornelia said, as she didn't want them to worry, as she was perfectly fine after a few hours. Cornelia, we're your parents, it's our job to worry if, Elizabeth was saying, only to realize she didn't remember Naruto's name. Naruto said, saying his name. Naruto, thank you, Elizabeth said in appreciation, if Naruto wasn't there I could have lost one of my baby girls, she said as a tear came down her face. I'm sorry, Cornelia said, hugging her mom. Young man, I personally would like to thank you, Harold said, once again extending his hand, but this time in appreciation. It's no big deal, I was happy to help, Naruto said as he'd do it again. Yes, it was a huge deal, thank you, Elizabeth said, giving him a strong hug. After a few minutes of Elizabeth hugging him, Naruto thought it was time for him to go. Well, later Cornelia, he said, walking away. Later, Cornelia said, while she thought back to when Naruto saved her from freezing to death, diving in after her. You like him, Lillian said teasingly. I do not. Cornelia said, denying Lillian's claim. Why not, dear? Harold said, surprising Cornelia. Just because, Cornelia said, blushing in embarrassment. Cornelia, sweetie, that boy saved your life, that as close to a knight in shining armor most girls get, Elizabeth said, wondering what the problem was. He's just a friend, Cornelia said, hoping that would dissuade her parents. Elizabeth just let out a chuckle. Sweetie, you have to stop being so shy and take a risk, she said, giving Cornelia a look. Cornelia just puts her palms on her face, hiding her blushing face, ignoring her annoying little sister's laugh. With Naruto. I hope that's all of the craziness I'll experience tonight, Naruto thought as he walked back inside to look for Elian. Naruto, I need your help, Irma said, sounding nervous, already pulling him. Okay, what's up? Naruto asked, curious to what she needed. Okay, to make a long story short, I kinda told my parents you're my boyfriend, Irma said, sounding embarrassed. Wait, what? Why? Naruto almost yelled, definitely wanting the full story now. Okay, listen, Martin was saying he was my boyfriend and I panicked. Okay, I told them you were my boyfriend, Irma said, embarrassed. I thought we set him up with Michelle. Naruto asked in silent rage toward Martin. Well, he apparently can't take a hint, Irma said. Also angry, wondering if Martin was even capable of noticing a hint. Listen, I just need you to act like my boyfriend for a few minutes, okay please? She asked, almost begging. Fine, Naruto said, letting out a sigh in frustration, but if Will finds out you're going to be the one to handle her, he said, fearing how angry his girlfriend could get. Fine, Irma said, not looking forward to that conversation, then saw her parents up ahead. Mom, Dad, this is Naruto, she said, introducing him. Hello, officer, Naruto said to Irma's father. Oh, it's you, Tom said, recognizing Naruto from the time they met at the movies. Pleasure to see you again, young man, Anna said with a smile. Wait, you've met? Irma asked a little confused. Yes, he carried you to our car when you feel asleep at the movies, Anna said, still thinking that was sweet. Irma just blushed as she never knew that. So you're dating my baby girl, Tom said, not at all pleased with his daughter having a boyfriend. Yeah, Naruto said nervously, either from the fear of Will finding out or Irma's dad getting angrier from him saying the wrong thing. So where are your parents? Tom asked curiously. Yes, it would be a pleasure to meet them, Anna said, wanting to meet his parents. SHT, Irma thought as this took a wrong turn fast. They're no longer with us, Naruto said, downcast as he had been saying that a lot lately. Oh, I'm so sorry, Anna said, feeling like she asked a question she shouldn't have asked. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tom said apologetically. So who are you here with? He asked, instantly going into detective mode. I live alone, Naruto said, plainly knowing where he was gonna take this. Well, unless you're 18 you need someone to support you and watch over you, Tom said, knowing he'd have to report this to child services. Sir, in about a year I'll be 18, I have a job, and Mrs. Lin checks on me regularly, Naruto said, hoping this would dissuade him from doing. Tom just sighed as he knew he couldn't do much, since if he was checked regularly nothing could be done. So where do you work? Anna said, wanting to change the subject. The Silver Dragon, Naruto said plainly. Well, it was nice meeting you, young man, Anna said as she and her husband walked away. Oh, thank God, Irma said, surprised that went so well. I thought your dad was gonna kill me, Naruto said, letting out a sigh. He probably would've, Irma said, mumbling. Wait, what? Naruto asked, wondering if he heard right. Oh well, see you later, Irma said, running off. With Terrarium. So see you Friday? Terrarium asked, wanting to confirm. Definitely, Nigel said, happy he had a date with the girl he was interested in. Terrarium smiled, then spotted her family in the distance. I gotta go later, she said, running off. Later, Nigel said, watching her run to her family, but when she got to them he had a sudden realization as he looked at Terrarium's mom. Flashback 1 year ago. So you're gonna get off easy, right bro? Nigel asked his brother in a courtroom. Yeah, I surrendered and didn't resist. Also, this is like my second offense. I'll probably do some community service, Daniel Ashcroft said to his little brother. Order in the court, a man in a police uniform said as a female judge by the name of Teresa Cook entered the courtroom. Daniel Ashcroft, you stand here accused of breaking and entering and multiple counts of vandalism. How do you plead? Teresa Cook asked, needing to know. Guilty, Daniel said as he knew he would get in more trouble if he lied in court. After an hour of the evidence being presented to the whole court, Teresa Cook saw enough to make a decision. Daniel Ashcroft, for the crimes of breaking and entering and multiple counts of vandalism you'll serve the sentence of 3 years in prison, she said, surprising Daniel and Nigel. What? But it's my second offense. Daniel yelled in anger as some cops grabbed him. Yes, but you're no longer a minor and you've committed multiple felonies, and the reason you're not doing 5 years is because you surrendered and didn't cause much damage, Teresa said as the cops began to take Daniel away. F you. You see anti-face B. Daniel said as he was being dragged away. Bro. Nigel said, seeing his brother being taken away. Flashback end. That be, Nigel thought, remembering that day as clearly as if it had just happened, then had a sudden dark thought and a dark smile as he looked toward Terrarium. Let's see how she likes it when her family is getting F with, he thought, already having a plan. With Terrarium and her family. Lionel, there's the boy I was telling you about, Teresa said to her husband as she spotted Naruto. Lionel Cook looked toward where she was looking to where his wife was and saw Naruto. Honey, I don't think he looks like a delinquent, he said, getting a good look at Naruto. Honey, just look at those tattoos on his face, Teresa said, getting her husband to look at Naruto's face. Lionel looked at his face carefully. I don't think those are tattoos, sweetie, he said as he's seen tattoos and those appear to be way too light. As her parents argued over Naruto's facial features, Terrarium spotted Naruto and waved to him, making him walk over to. Hey Terrarium, Naruto said, greeting his friend. Hey Naruto, what's up? Terrarium asked, curious to how he was doing. You know, just our version of normal, Naruto said, being completely serious. Young man Naruto, was it? Teresa said, unsure of his name. Yes ma'am, Naruto said as she was once again looked him over. Also I got a car like you recommended, he said, remembering how their first conversation went. Teresa seemed to give an approving nod. Fine choice young man, she said, thinking he made the right choice. Excuse me young man, but are those markings on your face tattoos? Lionel asked, wanting confirmation. No, they're birthmarks, Naruto said, used to the question as people had asked him that his whole life. Those can't possibly be birthmarks, Teresa said, still not believing it. Hey, you can feel them if you want, Naruto offered, seeing as this would be the only way to convince her. Teresa normally would have said no, but her curiosity got the better of her, and when she placed her hand on his cheek, feeling the lines on his, they are real, she said in surprise, letting go of his cheek. Okay, so I guess I'll see you later, Naruto said, walking away. With Hei-Lin's family. Oh, there's Hei-Lin, might as well go say hi, Naruto thought as he'd meet the other girl's parents. Hey Hei-Lin, Naruto said, walking toward her and her parents. Oh hey Naruto, Hei-Lin said, talking weirdly, getting Naruto's attention. You okay Hei-Lin? Naruto asked curiously. Hei-Lin, come on, you don't need to be embarrassed, Joan-Lin said, trying to comfort her daughter. Embarrassed? About what? Naruto thought curiously. Hei-Lin opened her mouth to reveal that she had braces, then closed it. I got braces today, she said, still shy and embarrassed about it. Okay. So what? Naruto asked, not seeing the big deal was. This surprised Hei-Lin. You don't think they look ugly? She asked honestly, wanting his opinion. No, not really, I mean you need them, and anyone who has a problem with them are idiots, Naruto said, not seeing it as a problem, but he knew that some people, mainly Jiraiya, would make fun of her for having braces. Hei-Lin's parents actually smiled toward Naruto, as some people gave into peer pressure or made fun of people who were different from others. The moment was interrupted when Will rushed over to them. Naruto, Hei-Lin, it's Elian, she said in a whisper so they could hear her. Sorry mom and dad, I'll be right back, Hei-Lin said as the three ran off outside with the others. Outside the school. So can someone explain to me what's going on? Naruto asked as they walked out in the pouring rain. It's Elian, she's with Dash, Caleb was saying till he spotted Elian with the bookstore owner, Cedric, he said, gritting his teeth in anger. It's the bookseller. Terrarium said in shock. He's the beast. He was so cute, Cornelia said, sounding like she was whining. F me. I knew he was off, but I didn't think he was that snake monster, Naruto thought as his rage started to build up. Elian don't believe anything he says. Will said, hoping she would do as she said, because there was no telling what Cedric could have told her. Oh, and your so-called friends have known about this all along, Cedric said, planting the seeds of distrust. What? Elian said in surprise from hearing that her friends were keeping something like this from her. They've kept you from knowing who you really are, ask them, Cedric said, getting Elian to look at them in fury. When were you going to tell me? Elian asked, poorly hiding her rage. I wanted to, Cornelia said honestly, as it was killing her that she couldn't tell her. Elian, no matter what he told you, Cedric is not your friend, she said, hoping she would hear her out. More of a friend than you, and why shouldn't I go to this Meridian? At least people are honest there, Elian said, convinced she wanted to go. You don't know what you're saying, Cornelia said, wanting to tell her about all the evil that was currently there. Oh, that's right, I never know anything, it's Cornelia who always has the special secrets. Elian said, letting her out anger for being left out and abandoned by her best friend. Come princess, Cedric said as he believed that enough distrust had been planted between Elian and the Guardians. No you don't, you threw me in a dungeon to rot, Caleb said as he charged and tackled Cedric. Show your true nature, Cedric, he said as Cedric used his foot to launch Caleb into a wall. Naruto just watched the fight and saw that Caleb wasn't doing so well and noticed that even in his small disguised body he still had all his physical strength. Looks like I need to save his butt, he thought, since he knew there was no way even with all the physical training he gave him could he win against Cedric. Guardians unite! Will said as she and the girls transformed, surprising Elian. What are you? Elian exclaimed, not knowing how to process what she was seeing. Terrarium blasted him with a blue fireball, actually hoping he got hurt and felt some pain. Cornelia focused her powers underneath all the concrete and brought up some vines which wrapped around Cedric, tightly binding each of his limbs. The girls quickly surrounded him, blocking him from Elian's sight, and as he struggled to get free his face went back and forth between forms. Cedric transformed his hands, increasing their size to break the vines, and when they snapped he ran away in the opposite direction. Naruto ran right after him, and when he caught up to him he gave Cedric a sucker punch, sending him to the ground, but before he could get up Naruto grabbed him and held him in a choke hold. "Caleb, take the shot," he yelled, knowing Caleb would land a good punch and would definitely make Caleb's day. Caleb didn't need to be told twice, as he had wanted to punch Cedric right in the face ever since he met him, and when he hit him he aimed for his jaw, hoping it would break or at the very least leave a bruise. "He's defenseless, stop it," Elian said, catching up to see Cedric being pinned by Naruto. "Elian, you can keep them away, you know how," Cedric said, playing the victim while also wanting Elian to tap into her powers. Elian instinctually raised her hand and sent out waves of white light which caused things to break or be pushed away. Everyone was sent flying from the sudden rush of power when it hit them. It, Naruto thought painfully as he hit the side of the building really hard and then fell to the ground, and when he got up he saw everyone was knocked out and unconscious, which made him angry seeing them harmed. "F it, I have to get Elian, otherwise Meridian is F," he thought, not wanting Elian to be in the arms of her psychotic manipulative brother. Naruto picked himself up and ran across a few rooftops to get to the bookstore where Naruto was willing to bet they were going to, since the book that transported them to the library was there. Luck was on Naruto's side as he spotted them a few blocks away from the bookstore and ran ahead, so he was blocking him. "Out of our way," Cedric said, getting in front of Elian, protective of her. "You used her to attack my friends, you're not going anywhere until I'm done kicking your butt," Naruto said, having no intention of letting Elian go with him with the disguised snake monster. "Naruto, please don't do this," Elian said, practically begging since she still liked him. "Sorry Elian, I can't," Naruto said angrily as his facial features started to change. His eyes glowed red and his whisker marks became more defined. He charged Cedric, throwing a punch right at him, sending him crashing into a car with his chakra-enhanced punch. Cedric picked himself up and wiped the blood that came down his mouth and charged directly toward Naruto, ready to throw a punch at his face, which he caught, having no difficulty whatsoever. Naruto just glared directly into Cedric's eyes like he bearing into his very soul, scaring the man. As he felt the power and rage behind his eyes, he raised his hand, preparing to beat the living hell out of Cedric for all the pain and harm he caused his friends and the manipulation he did to Elian to make her turn on her friends. "Stop," Elian said as she sent out a pulse of white energy, stopping Naruto from pounding Cedric's face into the ground. It all, Naruto thought as he hit another wall, this time head first, getting a serious blow to the head, knocking him out. 20 minutes later at the Silver Dragon. Naruto was currently lying down on the bed in the basement with a bandage around his head while the others argued upstairs. Naruto's seal. Naruto was currently lying on the watery ground of his seal, unconscious, unaware of the glare he was receiving from the Ninetales. "Wake up," the Ninetales yelled, sounding angrier than usual while successfully waking up the blonde ninja. "What do you want?" Naruto asked, sounding groggy as he clutched his head, having a serious headache. "To bring you back to reality, you complete and total moron," the Ninetales said, still sounding angrier than usual. "You have become a joke, holding back against everyone you've faced since you got here," he said, making Naruto flinch. "So I've held back, so what?" Naruto said, not seeing the problem. "You lost to AF girl who just unlocked her powers," the Ninetales said, getting even angrier somehow. "You've yet to use the Rinnegan in any actual combat, and each one of those idiots that SHT Bag Prince sends you limit yourself, not fighting at your best. You are a ninja. What happened to all that trying your best, never giving up CRP that you always talk on about?" he asked, actually waiting for an answer. Naruto actually took the time to think of what he said and thought back to all his fights and realized the fox was right and he could have dealt with them easily. "And that SHT Bag Prince, you could have dealt with him easily and end this useless SHT," the Ninetales said, knowing Prince's magic only mustered up to a third of Naruto's full power at best. I can't kill him, Naruto said, actually having that thought cross his mind before. Why? The Ninetales asked, wanting an answer to that. Because as crazy and stupid as he is, if I killed him, someone like Cedric could have taken command of his army and started a war with Earth, Naruto said, actually having thought this through, and that was before I knew about him having a sister. If someone played it right, they could have manipulated Elian, he said, knowing that was an entirely real possibility because hate blinded people and caused even more hate. The Ninetales just glared, having no response, as that actually seemed like a well-thought answer with well-thought-out outcome of how it could have a negative impact. But you're right, I need to get serious and stop holding back, Naruto said, admitting that the fox had a point as he exited the seal. Outside the seal, Naruto got up from the bed, clutching his bandaged head as he had a major headache. Man, my head seriously kills, he thought, walking upstairs where he saw the girls arguing. What, you're the one who wouldn't let me warn her? Cornelia said, glaring at Will in sadness-fueled anger. Cornelia's right, we had the chance to warn her, and because we didn't, she and her brother's manipulative grasp, Naruto said, surprising the girls and Yenlin. Naruto, Will said, rushing directly toward him, wrapping her arms around him, relieved that he was okay. Hey, Naruto said, nonchalantly, giving her a small smile. How are you standing? Irma asked, surprised he was even conscious as she saw he suffered a massive blow to the head. I heal quick, Naruto said as he unwrapped the somewhat bloody bandages, revealing a perfectly healed head. So now you agree with me? Where was this when Will said we shouldn't tell Elian? Cornelia yelled angrily, oh that's right, your girlfriend basically owns your butt 'cause you have no self-respect, she said in a calm, angry tone. Do I really? Naruto asked himself as he didn't disagree with Will after Elian was discovered, because he didn't want to upset Will and they just started dating. That's not true. Will yelled as she glared at her as lightning started to appear around her and the power going through the building was disrupted, reacting to Will's anger. Before a fight could get started, Yenlin decided to intervene. Calm, girls, if there was ever a time to all work together, it is now, she said, getting rid of the tension and preventing Will and Cornelia duking it out, possibly destroying her restaurant. So what's the plan? Naruto asked, wanting to be brought up to speed. Not really a plan, 'cause we're just waiting for a portal to mount a rescue, Lin said simply, as that was basically the whole plan in its entirety. Naruto, can we talk for a second? Will asked, taking a break from holding the heart above the map. Sure, Naruto said, following her to the kitchen. Do you really just go with what I say 'cause we're dating? Will asked, not knowing how to react to how he might answer. I just didn't want to upset you, Naruto said nervously. Naruto, Will said in a sad, low tone, we're dating, I don't want you to stop having an opinion, she said, not wanting him to not voice his opinion or disagree with her. Okay, I'll be more open and honest about my opinions and thoughts, Naruto said, a little relieved to how well this went. Phobos Castle. After about a half hour of glamoring up the castle so nothing would scare or make Elian suspicious, Phobos waited in the hallway patiently, almost eagerly. Prince Phobos, your sister, Cedric said as Elian walked toward her brother, having no idea that Cedric was smirking deviously. Elian, is it really you? I've waited so long, Phobos said, walking toward her with open arms, hugging her when she got close. My brother, you're really my brother, I didn't know, Elian said, getting emotional as she hugged her brother. Oh, they're welcome to your kingdom, you're finally home, Phobos said as he looked directly at his sister, feeling the power she radiated, which was strong even though she just unlocked her powers. Soon this power will be mine, he thought, knowing he would have to bide his time. Come, let me show you pictures of our family, Phobos said, showing pictures of people that changed once they passed them. Elian loved having so many family members and seeing pictures of them for the first time, but what really caught her attention was a giant portrait of a man dressed in knight armor, which was white and gold marking, standing over an enemy holding out a sword. But what really caught her attention was the knight's face, which she recognized instantly because that face belonged to Naruto, she said, looking incredibly surprised. Ah, so you know of Meridian's protector, Phobos said, walking up to her, placing a hand on her shoulder. He has fought protecting Meridian from any and all threats, he said, hoping his scheme would work. And Naruto, Meridian's protector? Elian said, completely surprised by what her brother said. Yes, he is Meridian's strongest warrior, hated by his enemies and loved by his people, Phobos said, which was actually somewhat true as he had heard rumors about Naruto's deeds among the Meridianites. But why would he keep me away from Meridian? Elian asked, wanting no. Months ago he was taken by the Guardians, Phobos said, momentarily losing his calm and happy demeanor, now having a hateful look. He is no doubt being manipulated by their evil powers, he said, subtlety smiling again as he saw the look of shock and anger on her face. They've been manipulating him? Elian thought as her powers acted upon her anger, making most of the things in the hallway shake. I wonder, Phobos thought, having an even better idea come to his sick demented head. Yes, that poor boy, it must be very hard to see your betrothed under the control of the enemy, he said, hoping Elian would pick up on what he said. Betrothed? Elian thought as her anger diminished and everything in the room stopped shaking, then quickly gained a blush. Are you saying I'm supposed to marry Naruto? She asked as she became very embarrassed. Phobos smirked as his plan was working better than he hoped. Yes, he is the one you are supposed to marry, as it was decided when you and him were mere infants, he said, as it wasn't uncommon in Meridian. Elian blushed, got a little redder as she pictured herself in a wedding dress walking down the aisle to see Naruto waiting for her. Then they shared a long passionate kiss. Phobos and Cedric just looked at Elian as she had a very noticeable blush, a distant look in her eyes, while having a very happy smile on her face. Now Elian, let me show you some more pictures of our family, Phobos said, walking down the hallway with his sister, momentarily looking back to the portrait of Naruto to see it change into a picture of Phobos standing over a dead Naruto, making said prince smile. What's that? Elian asked, seeing a glass tank with some plants and insects inside. A terrarium, I keep it for the children of the staff, Phobos said as he had another evil idea come to mind as he raised his hand when Elian wasn't looking and encased the terrarium in magic for a moment, doing something to it. I knew you'd be nice, Elian said, loving her brother while not seeing a ladybug transform into some kind of spider. They went to the map room where Phobos began showing her the vast amount of land, and these are the maps of every part of the kingdom, your kingdom, Phobos said, seeing the amazed look in her eyes. It's all so wonderful, just like Cedric said. I can't believe they kept me from this, Elian said, having another episode where her powers getting angrier and angrier at her friends. Elian, on the earth dwellers can be evil, that is why we have the veil to keep their lies and deceit away from our people, Phobos said, using every bit of knowledge most people knew so no one could tell her otherwise. It makes me so mad to think I could have been here all along, Elian said as her hate grew stronger. You must release that anger. I'd like to try something. Put your hand on the great map here, Phobos said, pointing to a spot on the map. Picture your 5 friends and think of something peaceful, such as, say, the terrarium I showed you, Phobos said, smirking. What is this, like meditation? Elian asked curiously, never really doing this kind of thing. Yes, and it's a see your powers of concentration, think of your friends and those nice plan, Phobos said, still smirking. Elian did as instructed and placed her hand on the map, causing white ripples to appear on the map. Silver Dragon. Everyone was currently watching the map, wanting a portal to appear. Then on appeared the map. There, a portal. Hey, Lin said as everyone got up. Let's go, Caleb said, rushing out, Naruto right behind him. After transforming, the girls flew right behind them, slowing down so Caleb could keep up. So do we have an actual plan? Terrarium asked, since they were literally about to storm the castle. Yeah, we go and get Elian and get out, Naruto said, having no intent of holding back against Phobos but would refrain from killing him since Elian would take it the wrong way and deny the truth about her caring brother. Got that right, Cornelia said, willing to do whatever it took to get Elian back. The group then went silent as they approached the portal. Terrarium. This doesn't look like Meridian, Caleb said as Blunk hit an invisible wall. Glass, it's keeping us out of something, Hey Lin said, seeing a light reflect off the glass. This is a giant terrarium, Terrarium said as she'd seen this type of exhibit before. Oh man, Naruto thought as he realized from looking through the glass that they weren't in a giant terrarium, they were inside a regular-sized one. They were just really small. Oh man, I hope we get to normal size if we go back through the portal, he thought, only to see the portal disappear a few seconds later. Fu Phobos, he thought, hating the prince more and more. The group started to walk around hoping to see some way of escape. As they walked around, Cornelia stepped into a very muddy puddle. "Oh, why can't we ever be trapped someplace without dirt?" Cornelia said, not a huge fan of getting dirty even a little bit. "Like we're an evil mall?" Irma asked sarcastically, not seeing the problem. As they talked, a giant spider walked by, and when it spotted it with one of its many eyes, it saw its next meal and walked toward them. They all ran up a nearby vine trying to get to higher ground. Lin saw that Blunk was lagging behind and the spider was catching up to him, so she grabbed him and tried flying away, but was hit by one of its many legs, knocking her and Blunk down to the ground as the spider approached them with the intent of eating them. Lin! Naruto yelled as jumped in front of them, raising his hands as he activated his Rinnegan and sent a small almighty push, sending it a few feet back, then went to Lin, picking her up bridal style, then jumped to a vine. "You okay?" he asked, setting her down. "Yeah, thanks," Lin said appreciatively, as he just saved her life. Lin, the berries," Will said as she shot bolts of lightning. "Air," Lin said as she used her powers and cut the stem of the berries while also creating a current of wind to send them directly toward the spider. "Earth," Cornelia said, landing on the ground, creating a small trench as she focused her power in the ground, making the ground shake, causing the spider to fall in. "Good work, but with 6 legs he won't stay put," Lin said as she was really creeped. "Well, actually 8, all arachnids have 8 legs, and when they use them save it for school," Terrarium said, explaining the species of spiders till Will interrupted her just as the spider climbed out. "Wait, hold on, I thought you were afraid of bugs?" Naruto asked as he remembered her saying that she was afraid of them. "Yeah, well, spiders aren't bugs, they're arachnids," Terrarium said as she found them fascinating. Is that a lid?" Will asked, wanting confirmation from the others. "Yes, it is," Naruto said as he charged a Rasengan and jumped to hit the lid so it would break, but inches away Naruto's Rasengan collided with an invisible barrier. "Magic, of course," he thought. "Phobos put a barrier around the terrarium. He knew we would either survive or kill the spider and get me and the heart, since our powers are diminished with how we are now," he explained to the others as his Rasengan seemed weaker compared to Phobos's barrier. "We should attack the glass," Will said as she fired a bolt of lightning at the glass. "Will's got the right idea," Naruto said as he looked at the glass and back to the spider. "Cornelia, you and Irma go keep that thing distracted," he said, as they need to be protected as they worked. "You got it, babe," Irma said as she blasted the spider while Cornelia wrapped it in vines. "Come on, they got this, let's go," Naruto said as Caleb and the girls went to one of the terrarium sides. "Okay, we gotta try break through the glass to get the hell out of here," he said as he pressed his hands on the glass, focusing his wind chakra, making a small scratch size slash across it. "Our sizes affect our powers," he thought, seeing will have no effect, Terrarium not being able to melt or shatter the glass, and Lin not being able to use enough wind to blow and shatter the glass. Lin looked at the spot she had been blasting and saw she had done no damage at all. "Ugh, I'm so useless," she said, descending to the ground. "That's not true," Naruto said, yelling at her. "Wind can make the sharpest blade and cut through almost anything," he said, telling her one of the many possibilities for wind, "and you're more talented than I am when it comes to wind. You're a natural, you make every hard thing about training in it seem easy. You're stronger than you know. I believe in you," he yelled, surprising Lin. Lin merely looked at her hands and wondered if what Naruto said was true. Deciding to give it a shot, she clutched her hands into fist and closed her eyes and digged down deep for every last ounce of power she had. Fortress-like temple in an unknown location. A light blue aura mirror could be seen expand in size and glow brighter, similar to the pink, red, and navy blue aura mirrors. Terrarium. Lin got all her power channeling around her hand, and when she extended it toward the glass, and all the wind she gathered formed a blade cutting right through not only it but the giant spider. The glass of the terrarium started to crack from the slash mark, shattering as it then split, falling on its sides. "F me, she did this amount of damage at this size. If she was her full size, this castle would be split in half," Naruto thought, a little afraid of the thought of fighting Lin. "Holy SHT, Lin, that was awesome," Irma said as she was shocked. "Yeah, girlfriend, that was amazing." Cornelia said impressed. How'd you do that? Terrarium asked curiously. Yeah, tell us, Will asked equally curious. Save the questions for later cause right now we have to focus on our current situation, Naruto said referring to their current size. The girls, Caleb, and Blunk agreed as they flew out the closest window flying to a random spot in the town around the castle. When they landed they were almost crushed by an apple core some man threw. What, you never heard of a giant trash can? Irma yelled at the man who was still walking away. Irma, we're small, everyone else is. Regular-sized, Naruto said, not understanding how she didn't realize that yet, and I wouldn't push your luck if he hurt us, we could only fly away, he said as he didn't like their chances with their current size. Now that Phobos has Alien's powers on his side everything will be harder, Will said knowing that Phobos now had an even bigger advantage over them. We must find a portal, go back to Earth, hope we return to normal size when we cross over and form a whole new strategy, Caleb said until he and the others saw Alien's parents being brought in chains toward Phobos Castle. Phobos UBSTRD, Naruto thought as Phobos seemed to drop to an even lower level than Naruto previously thought. It's Alien's parents, Terrarium said, stating out the obvious. Phobos' grip grows tighter, this is going to be a lot harder than we thought, Caleb said knowing full well that Phobos would keep them for either ways to manipulate Alien or hostages if she ever turned on him. Will's apartment. Sorry Mom, we're just not hungry, Will said as she and the other girls were a little depressed. Girls, whatever is bothering you, these teenage have a way of working themselves out, Susan said as she took the tray of sandwiches and juice away, think about something else, she said offering her advice. Teenage problems, yeah, I'd give anything to have those back, Irma said as she and the other girls sat in silence unaware that Naruto sat in shame on the fire escape in the rain. This is my fault, if I just agreed with Cornelia maybe we could have stopped Phobos from getting his paws on her, Naruto thought as he sat in the rain feeling the girls' depression. Things are gonna get worse before they get better, the Ninetales said through their link, not actually warning him, just telling him what will happen. No SHT, Naruto said plainly looking up toward the cloudy sky feeling the rain hit his face as he knew he'd have to fight another person he cared about. Fortress-like temple in an unknown location. Oracle, you can't be serious. Luba said hoping she heard wrong. I am Luba, we shall not make any rash decisions until we know what this power is, the Oracle said holding a crimson glowing Boromir. Oracle, the boy is clearly too powerful and clearly a threat, Luba said after just watching him fight Cedric. Though we may not understand his power, he helps the Guardians and protects the innocent, the Oracle said not wanting to make any hasty decisions. Oracle, that does not even feel anything like magic, it may have trace amounts of it but it is still not magic, Luba said wanting him to see reason. You're right, it is something else entirely, which is why I shall look through the archives to see if anything like this has ever been documented, the Oracle said taking the Boromir with him. Luba just looked to a frozen image of Naruto with glowing red eyes, and even though it was an image it still sent shivers down Luba's spine. I shall find out exactly what you are, boy, she said in paranoia-filled determination. Later. And another Boromir changes, Luba thought as she saw that the Air Guardian's Boromir changed like the rest, meaning 4 out of the 5 Boromirs have increased in size and power. The only remaining one that hadn't changed was the Earth Guardian's Boromir, who image Luba summoned in order to monitor Naruto. Next day at Phobos Castle. Alien was currently walking through the palace with her, seeing its beauty, while being approached by some rabbits. This place takes your breath away, she amazed by its tranquility. I knew you'd love it, Phobos said, actually happy that Alien was happy since it meant she was seeing Meridian as her home. Hey, Alien said to a parrot-like bird, and as she looked at it she failed to notice blackthorn-like vines sneak behind her. Phobos saw it, approached her and used his powers to send it away as he had yet to extract her powers yet. The castle, these gardens, I feel like I'm in a fairy tale, Alien said, still amazed by the sheer beauty of Meridian. Sometimes fairy tales come true, Phobos said, feeling a little nauseous from being so kind and that his castle was so appealing as it didn't suit his tastes. Even though Alien was amazed by its beauty, her mind couldn't help but wonder, I still can't believe that my so-called friends kept me from this, or the fact that I had a brother, she said, saddened as she wondered if they were ever really her friends. It doesn't sound like your friends wanted what was best for you, Phobos said as they walked away from the garden, and as soon as they were far enough the plants became deadly and the animals became monstrous. As they walked, Elian was deep in thought, which made Phobos concerned. Phobos, she said, calling out to her brother. Yes, dear sister. Phobos said, curious as to what she wanted. You said the guardians were manipulating Naruto? Elian asked in a neutral tone. Yes, Phobos said, keeping up his rouse about the boy. Then I'll save him and bring him home, Elian said, fully determined to do what she said. Phobos was surprised by his sister's declaration and thought of the possibilities of such a thing. If she were to bring the boy to me, it would save me the trouble, he thought, weighing the possibilities as he knew the boy wouldn't hurt her. She'll have to do it while in Meridian, he thought, willing to take the gambit if it was within his favor. All right, I'll allow it, he said, getting a smile out of Elian, but only if he is to travel to Meridian, he said, not wanting her to be out of his grasp. Elian nodded as she could understand that her being gone so long would result in her brother being a little clingy. All right, she said, agreeing. Thank you, dear sister, as you shall be the one to grant me absolute power, Phobos thought happily as they walked away. As Elian smiled at the thought of rescuing Naruto, her thoughts darkened when she thought of one guardian in particular who she fully intended to fight for the pain she caused her. Science class. Cornelia was late and had just snuck into class undetected by the teacher, who was showing a diagram of the inside of a worm. What's going on? She asked to those around her. Haha, don't you know this afternoon it's D-Day, Jiraiya said, all too happy to do something gross and get his hands dirty. Huh? Cornelia said, not knowing what he meant. Dissection day, it's all week, Alchemy said, not really bothered as she was used to this part of science, but saw the disgusted look on Cornelia's face. Oh, you don't have to do it alone, you can work with your lab partner, she said, hoping to cheer her up. But my lab partner is Elian, Cornelia said, getting a little sad as she looked at the empty seat next to her. Wow, is Elian still on vacation? Alchemy asked as she had heard a rumor that she left last night and wondered when she'd return. Yeah, Cornelia said, nervously glad that the rumor she and the girls spread got around. So with no lab partner I can probably skip it, right? She asked in hope. Before Alchemy could answer, Jiraiya brought a handful of live worms next to Cornelia's face, causing her to scream. Jiraiya, put that down, we don't start till PRD3, the teacher said, making Jiraiya go back to his seat. Since Elian's not here, you can probably work with another group, Alchemy said, looking around. Why not with Will and Naruto? I'm sure they'll let you work with them, she offered, not knowing about the tension between them all. Cornelia just looked back at them and her mind just drifted to what happened last. Flashback. We need to talk to each other, you guys, hey Lin asked, breaking the silence the girls had. Like what happened with my powers? She asked, looking at her hands as she couldn't help but feel amazed by what she did. Yeah, our powers have been like turbocharged or something, Irma said as she and the others agreed. Why haven't mine gotten stronger? Cornelia asked as she was the only one out of all of them not to increase in power. Performance anxiety, Irma said sarcastically, getting a glare from Cornelia. It irritated Cornelia a little that she was basically the weak link of the team since the others' powers grew so powerful while hers barely changed at all. Guys, what'll we do about Elian? Will asked, wanting their opinions. It's obvious we're gonna save her. Cornelia said, fully determined. Yeah, but how? Will asked, having no plan and was open to any ideas. I'll go with Caleb to Meridian, Naruto said as he opened the window, surprising the girls. How long have you been out there? Karane asked, surprised that he showed up. A while, Naruto said, answering her question. Anyway, I'll go with Caleb to Meridian when a portal opens, he said, which shouldn't have been too hard if Phobos manipulated the veil to open around her. Why just you two? Cornelia asked, not liking to be left out of her friend's rescue. Cause we're gonna do some espionage and a large group will be too easily noticed, and the last time you all tried to be stealthy we got found out 5 minutes later, Naruto said, remembering their attempt to sneak around Phobos Castle. After seeing no complaint, he left out the window he came. Cornelia couldn't help but stare out the window. I don't trust him, she said, getting multiple groans from the girls. Oh, just give it up, Will said, seeing this as annoying as the first time. Seriously Corny, give it up, Irma said, exhausted in every way possible. He hides everything from us, being secretive about everything about himself. How can we trust him? Cornelia said as she and the girls were unaware that Naruto was right outside on the fire escape. Maybe it's time I told them the truth, Naruto thought sadly as he grew worried if it would be a repeat of what happened in his world. Flashback end. Cornelia still didn't trust him, which she sometimes questioned, and not knowing what her drive was beside her curiosity, she looked at the couple for a moment and decided to stay alone, which didn't go unnoticed by said couple as they looked at their friend. Later at the cafeteria. Will, Irma, Terrane, Lin, and Naruto have been talking amongst themselves, but that stopped when Cornelia showed up. Ugh, I've had it, she said angrily. Will had a depressed look on her face as she knew where Cornelia was gonna take this, and she honestly couldn't blame her. Cornelia, we all feel terrible about Elian, but we thought we were protecting her. We thought Phobos would take longer to find her, Terrane was saying till we'll cut her off. No, you thought that I am sick of playing follow the leader. My best friends in the clutches of some creature. Things were going just fine before you came to this school, Cornelia said, not knowing how deep her words hit and hurt Will. That's enough, Cornelia, Naruto said as he felt how bad his girlfriend was feeling, both in the figurative and literal sense. And you? Cornelia said, directing her anger toward him, you have more powers than all of us, yet you didn't use them to stop this from happening, she said angrily. Naruto could understand her anger as he had felt similar emotions when Sasuke left the village and just wanted to lash out at everyone. You're right, he said, surprising them, and I have to live with the fact that everyone including Elian that gets hurt will be my fault, he said, knowing she had a point. Whatever the point is, this whole protecting the veil thing is becoming really unfun, Cornelia said, getting looks from the others. It's not supposed to be fun, Naruto said, getting a glare from Cornelia. He's right, it's our duty to answer the call of duty, Irma said, being serious. I'm not taking advice from someone who just showed up out of the blue into my life and won't tell me anything about where he's from, and duty can lose my phone number, Cornelia said, getting some surprised looks. Naruto could only frown as he should have made a move to be more honest to them earlier on. What are you talking about? Terrane asked, wanting clarification to what she meant. I'm over this, Cornelia said, making her friends get worried. Cornelia, even friends fight, Terrane said, wanting to defuse the situation. We'll be best friends again tomorrow, pinky swear, Lin said, holding up her pinky along with Irma and Terrane. The pinky isn't going to fix this one, Cornelia said, holding her angry tone. Maybe we should have told Elian the truth, Will said, admitting she should have listened to Cornelia. Yes, we should have. Now I'm going to do something I should have done a long time ago. I quit, Cornelia said, surprising the girls. I hope you mean dairy, Lin said, trying to ease the tension of the current situation. I mean this friendship, I mean the guardian. Somebody else can fight big lizards and gargoyles for a while, Cornelia said, taking off. Later in the city. Cornelia had just left school and was walking with no direction in particular. As she was caught in her own world listening to music, she didn't see someone standing right in front of her, and when she hit the person she saw that it was Naruto and just walked, not saying a word. Naruto grabbed her shoulder, stopping her in her tracks. She looked back, she saw the seriousness in his eyes, which surprised her. We need to talk, he said. Cornelia just sighed. Fine, you talk, I listen, she said, too tired to argue. I'm sorry about what happened, I really am, but throwing away your friends isn't the way, Naruto said as they walked. You seem to know just about everything, don't you? Cornelia asked sarcastically. No, but I've been where you are, Naruto said, knowing what it was like to lose your best friend. My best friend ran away leaving all his friends and tried severing his bonds with everyone he knew, but I wouldn't let him, and even after all this time that hasn't changed, he said. Cornelia was actually surprised by him telling her this, as he was normally so secretive and reserved. Why are you telling me this? She asked curiously. Because I know what it like to be pushed away and to push others away, Naruto said, closing his eyes as he took a deep breath for what he would say next. A man who was like a father to me for 3 years died, and when I found out I was destroyed, I pushed every one of my friends away, but they didn't give up on me, he said, remembering back to how his friends helped him in his darkest hour. Cornelia looked shocked by what he said as she could feel the weight of intensity of his words and the sad emotion expressed in his tone of voice. I can't go back, I'm sorry, she said sorrowfully. Why? Naruto asked, wanting an answer. If couldn't protect my friend, how can I protect everyone else? I'm just not strong enough, Cornelia said in a sad low tone of voice. Bullshit, you're just as strong as them, you just need to try harder, Naruto said as he knew she had a lot of potential. Cornelia thought for a moment before she got a headache, making her shake her head. No, she said, walking away. What was that? Naruto thought, momentarily feeling something change in Cornelia which made him curious as to what it was. Her powers fluctuated and her emotions changed drastically. It almost felt like genjutsu. He thought, a little worried as to how long this may have been happening and wondered who was doing it. In the distance, a familiar woman dressed in a pink kimono can be seen watching the conversation between Naruto and Cornelia, and could also see something was wrong with the Earth Guardian. You must help her so we can help them, young one, she thought, disappearing. City. Naruto was currently walking toward the Silver Dragon, wanting to check on the girls. Naruto, a feminine voice called out to him, and when he looked to the direction of the voice he saw that it was Alchemy. Hey Alchemy, what's up? Naruto asked, wondering what she wanted. Oh, nothing much, I was wondering how Caleb was doing. Alchemy asked, wondering how his wounds have healed. Oh, he's fine, Naruto said, knowing what she meant as the last time she saw Caleb he was seriously messed up. Oh, that's good, Alchemy said in relief. Can I ask you something? She asked, curious and embarrassed. Sure, shoot, Naruto asked, wondering what she'd ask. How can I get Caleb's attention? Alchemy asked, wanting to be as clear as possible. Tell him, Naruto said as simply and as bluntly as humanly possible, because he knew Caleb was both dense and ignorant. Alchemy looked a little deflated by that answer. Anything useful? She asked, really wanting his help. Make the first move, Naruto said, very serious. Caleb can't pick up most hints and can be very dense when it comes to women, he said, remembering all the hits he himself gave Caleb for his stupid sexist remarks. Naruto could only imagine how badly Caleb's butt would get beaten if he f up with a girl that asked him out. What do you think he'll say? Alchemy asked, wondering what her chances were. Naruto actually took a moment to think about it, as he didn't know what kind of girl Caleb would be interested in, or if he would even want to date someone, especially a girl from a completely different world. I have no clue, he said, nervously, making her even more deflated. Do you know where he is? Alchemy asked, seeing as how she would have to take a chance and just ask him. Yeah, Naruto said, as Caleb usually stuck around the Silver Dragon and motioned for her to follow him. Minutes later at the Silver Dragon. There he is, Naruto thought as he saw Caleb walking toward the back. Yo Caleb, he yelled, catching his attention. Caleb stopped walking and saw Naruto and Alchemy. Hey, what's up? He asked casually. Hey Caleb, Alchemy said nervously. I'll leave you two alone, Naruto said, heading inside, hiding his small smirk. Inside, the Silver Dragon ran into Cornelia. Naruto said to the girls as they sat at a table. Well, don't leave us in suspense. What happened? Irma asked seriously, as she was worried for Cornelia. She feels like she isn't strong enough compared to you guys, Naruto said, leaving out what he sensed when he talked to her. What? That's crazy, Terane said, believing that wasn't at all true. Is it though? Will asked, surprising the others. Don't get me wrong, all five of us are strong, but the four of us have gotten tremendously strong. I mean, I can use lightning, Irma can control huge bodies of water and can better shape it, Taranee's fire has gotten hotter and is blue, and Hei Lin can cut through just about anything with her wind, she said, listing off their new powers. Oh, she just needs some time, Yen Lin said, hoping that her words were true. I hope you're right, Naruto said, knowing from experience that a person could make a very bad decision that not only affected them but those closest to them. She blocked me from her online friend list, Hei Lin said as she tried messaging her online earlier. That is serious, Yen Lin said, as she knew how much teens enjoyed communicating via the internet or by their phones. Is it possible to still take on Phobos without her? Will said, getting blank stares from everyone. What, you know, you were all wondering it too, she said as she was nervous of their gazes. Well, saying that is like saying you wanna abandon the whole meaning of the team, you'd throw away everything it meant about being part of W.I.T.C.H, and without Cornelia your team dynamic is all off, Naruto said as the girls had fought and trained together to fight as a team. Losing one of them would mean they're at an even bigger disadvantage. I am afraid not, Lin said, gaining everyone's attention. You guardians share a great burden. Divided your powers will be diminished, she said as she grabbed a fortune cookie, not seeing the shocked look on all their faces. Magic really knows how to screw someone over, Naruto thought as he was glad he was linked to anything, meaning his magic had fewer rules to follow. Ah, an old friend will return to you, Lin said, trying to lift their spirits. Let me see that, Hey Lin said, extremely skeptical. The fortune had said that. Oh, you don't need to see it to believe it, Lin said, crushing the piece of paper. Belief comes from within, she said, giving them a piece of wisdom. She's right, Naruto thought, even though he didn't believe in that type of thing, as he believed in making one's own future and shouldn't rely on things that were told to you that will or might happen. He believed in now shaping the future to be better than it was now. Next day at Phobos Castle. Phobos was curious as to what his enemies were currently up to, so he used his powers to gaze upon them. Seeing Cornelia ignore Will and Naruto, he was saying until the door creaked as it began to open, and without knowing who it was he glamored his throne room in case it was Elian. Hey, what's up? Elian said, coming inside the throne room. Seeing her brought a smile to Phobos' face. Here, let me show you something. This is the viewing stone, he said, lying through his teeth as he conjured up an image of Will whispering into Cornelia's ear, both of them having smiles on their faces, laughing together. I can't believe Cornelia has forgotten about me so quickly, Elian said sadly, as their friendship meant everything to her even after everything that was said and done. Elian missed her. I've been her lab partner since 4th grade, she said, remembering their childhood friendship. Oh, we made DNA out of licorice and pipe cleaners, she said, remembering the fun they had. Oh dear, is this upsetting? Phobos said with a smirk. What's this? He said, faking his surprise. What? Elian asked, wondering what he saw. Naruto sitting alone with a small frown, writing in his notebook, taking down notes. He looks so lonely, Elian said, knowing how it felt like to be alone. Yes, it's very sad indeed to watch, Phobos said behind Elian, still smirking. He was respected here, loved by many, and then they just took him, taking him away from his home and the people that adored him, he said, perfectly pressing the right buttons, making Elian become enraged. Why? Why did they do this? Why take him from Meridian? Elian asked her brother loudly. It's as I've said before, the earth dwellers are evil, Elian, Phobos said, putting as much distance between her and everything on earth except for Naruto. Elian was shaking in rage at seeing this. She clutched the necklace she wore and tossed it away, wanting nothing to do with her former friends. Naruto doesn't deserve this. Don't worry, Naruto, I'll bring you back to where you belong, she thought, running out the throne room. What's this? Phobos thought, bending down to pick up the necklace, and saw that it had 5 different sets of hair inside, which he could only conclude that it belonged to the guardians. This will be very useful, he thought, having an idea of what to do with the necklace. Cedric, I have a task for you, Phobos said, making Cedric appear from behind a pillar. Alchemy's house. Hey, what's with the sad face? Alchemy asked, still happy from earlier when Caleb said yes when she asked him out. Can I come in? Cornelia asked, still a little sad. Alchemy immediately let her inside and brought Cornelia up to her room while disconnecting the phone. What is it, a breakup with a guy? Alchemy asked, curious to what was wrong. Yeah, something like that, Cornelia said depressingly. Best way to deal is to tune out the world and listen to real depressing music, somehow it uplifts you, Alchemy said, knowing from experience as she's done it countless times before. Alchemy went over to the radio she kept in her room and turned it on to a radio station it was already on. Irma's house. Oh, this sucks, Irma said as she and the others did homework. Tell me about it, Naruto said, sitting at the window with Caleb. I brought snacks, Anna said, bringing small bags of chips and cans of soda. Thanks Mom, Irma said, thankful that her mom wasn't like those that gave healthy snacks. Oh Naruto, how are you? Anna said, spotting him sitting by the window. I'm fine thanks Mrs. Lair, Naruto said as he did his homework. So Mom, can you help me with this math problem? Irma asked, really stuck on the problem she had. I can help you, I just finished, Naruto said, putting down his book then walking over to Irma. Oh Irma, you picked a good guy to be your boyfriend, Anna said with a smile as she left the room. As soon as Irma's mom said that, Will had a look of shock and betrayal on her face, and at that exact same time the power to Irma's house went out. OSHT, Naruto and Irma thought, seeing the now pissed and angry look on Will's face. Before anything could be said, Naruto made a quick break for the window, escaping his girlfriend's rage while also leaving Irma behind to deal with his dangerous angry girlfriend. Coward! Caleb yells as he was then hit by a low-powered bolt of lightning. Irma, what did your mom mean? Will asked in an extremely calm tone of voice, her powers becoming visible as her hair moved back and forth and her eyes became enveloped in lightning. Okay, Will, listen, Irma said calmly and nervously as she raised her hands and backed away slowly. I'm listening, Will said, still talking calmly with her powers still visible. Okay, listen, it was at parents' night. Martin was saying I was his girlfriend, so I panicked and said Naruto was my boyfriend so Martin would leave me alone, Irma said, quickly telling her everything that happened. Okay, Will said, accepting the answer while calming down. Wait, seriously? Irma asked suspiciously. Yeah, sorry for overreacting, I just realized that you're one of my best friends and Naruto's too loyal to cheat, Will said, letting out a sigh of relief as she remembered those facts. Oh, thank goodness, Naruto said as he laid on top of the roof. It's cool, Irma said as she walked toward the window with an evil smirk, and you're so dead. You were just gonna let Will tear into me, she yelled, causing him to fall off the roof, but luckily he landed on his feet due to all his training. Hey, you're just mad cause you didn't think of it, Naruto yelled, then got blasted in the face by a blast of water courtesy of Irma. Well, that's true, Irma said, walking away from the window with a smirk. Not cool, Irma, Naruto said, climbing up the side of the house to Irma's window. Well, neither was abandoning me to an angry Will, so I guess we're even, Irma said as her smirk grew bigger when she saw the glare Naruto was sending her. Hey, can we stop arguing and talk about Cornelia? Terrarium said, even though she and Lin found the fight to be very amusing. Well, you're the leader, there must be a way to get Cornelia back, she asked, looking at said guardian. Yeah, well, I'm open to ideas, Will said, as Cornelia could be very stubborn. At that moment Irma's door burst open, revealing Chris. Hey Irma, check this out, he said as he ran inside covered in mud. Chris, little brother, rule number 1, knock, Irma said, irritated that her brother was dirtying her room. Second thought, don't touch my door or anything else of mine. What have you got? She asked, seeing the jar he had. I was on my way home from T-ball and there was this huge mud puddle, Chris was saying till he felt Blunk lick him. Hi smelly clown babysitter, I found these cool worms, I picked one up and hey, it wasn't this big before, he said, examining the worm. Naruto and the girls looked at the worm and saw it open its mouth, grossing the girls out, but Naruto had a calculative eye. If I didn't know any better I'd say that looked like a summon, he thought, not understanding how a worm could be so big and where it came from. Meridian mud, Blunk said as he swallowed all the mud he collected in his mouth. Did you say Meridian? Both Naruto and Caleb said in surprise. Of course it's from Meridian, Naruto thought, as every unusual thing that happened in this town was usually due to something crossing the veil. Meridian mud slugs, Caleb said, getting the others' attention as they looked out the window with Caleb to see dozens of the same slugs like the one that Chris had approached Irma's house. The girls were freaked out and disgusted as they saw them approach and looked back to Chris's slug, seeing reveal its teeth. They're coming this way. Terrarium said, panicking a little. We have to leave here now, Caleb said as the guardians quickly agreed. You're right, but we have to find out where the portal is that these things came out of and also find all of them, Naruto said, not wanting a new species of worms to be discovered. Later in the city. Blunk was currently sniffing out any sign for the Meridian mud as soon as they left Irma's house, looking for where the slugs came from, but luckily enough for them they had the map with them so they could easily find the portal. They saw the portal but no slugs anywhere that was until a slug popped out of the ground, scaring Terrarium. Can't we just call an exterminator? She asked as she was still creeped out by bugs. Or like a really large bird? Irma said sarcastically as she and the others saw many more slugs popping out of the ground. How are they following us? They don't have eyes, Will asked as she was annoyed by the slugs. Even if they don't have eyes they can smell like any other slugs, and without eyes they can smell even better, Naruto said, explaining what slugs could do as Tsunade had told him about a slug's biology when he asked what kind of summoning contract she had. Yeah, okay, but how are they following us? Hey Lin asked as they backed away from the approaching slugs. Did Elian have anything of yours when she crossed the veil? Caleb asked as he knew they needed someone sent to track them. She had one of my CDs, but I don't think they're going to eat Boyzilla, Irma said as she backed away nervously from the slugs. Hey Lin gasped in shock as remembered something, the locket, she said as she remembered the necklace they all chipped in to get. That's right, the hair in the friendship locket, Will said, grabbing her head as she remembered the spot where she plucked her hair. Speedy little devils, Irma said as she noticed they were approaching them faster. You need to go Guardian right now and get them back through the portal. Caleb said in urgency as there were too many of them. But Cornelia's in charge of Earth, Will, Terrane asked, wondering what the plan was. We can handle this, we just have to be creative. Guardians unite, Will said, transforming herself and the others into their guardian forms. Hey Lin sent out gusts of wind toward the slugs which should have sent them flying, but the slugs stuck themselves to the ground, not even being pushed back an inch, and when Hey Lin stopped, they continued their march toward the Guardians. The Guardians took to the sky as they knew they'd have tactical superiority since slugs couldn't reach them, and the moment they were all clear Terrane blasted the ground with fire hoping to fry the slugs, but when the flames died down everyone saw that the slugs dug down avoiding Terrane's attack. Why are their attacks so weak? Naruto thought as he'd seen them at their best, and this was nowhere close, and they were in guardian form, which made no sense. Terrane flew down and aimed her fire-enveloped hand at a random hole one of the slugs made. Mrs. Lin was right, our powers aren't as strong since Cornelia quit, she said. Then suddenly she felt multiple pairs of tentacles wrap around her and saw that the worms began to wrap themselves around Terrane. Everyone ran to help her, but they began to pile themselves on top of her and Caleb as he tried to pull her out, but was soon covered in slugs himself, and as Naruto and the other girls tried pulling them up, the slugs joined together and pulling them back down. Man, these things are determined, I'll give them that, Naruto said as he pulled Terrane and Caleb. There's thousands of these things, are we going to get rid of them? Irma was saying till they let go. I didn't even say please, she said, curious as to why they let go. Why aren't they going through the portal? Will asked, wondering why they were still here. 'Cause you guys are here, Naruto said, getting their attention. Those things have your scent and will follow you to wherever you go, he said, making the others freak out. What if we go through the portal, will they follow us? Will asked, hoping he'd say yes. Maybe, Naruto said, making them feel relief, but I don't know if our scents travel through a portal, so if we do go and they can't smell us, they'll head to where our scent can be found, like our homes or school, he said, making the girls fear for their family's safety. Not only that, these are baby slugs, the mother sends her spawn to hunt for food, when they find it mama follows, Caleb said, freaking the girls out, and word has it she undefeated, he said as the slug dug down. I really hope the mama is smaller than Katsuyu, Naruto said, since he can only do so much as his powers could wreck a whole city block easily, and fighting a creature the size of Summon in a city full of people just spelled disaster. Will quickly changed herself and the girls back to human form, but Terrane and Irma quickly got close to Naruto to feel a little safer. What do mother slugs eat? Terrane asked fearfully. Fresh fruit? Irma asked in hope. Ugh, she's more of a people person, Caleb said, feeling a little embarrassed as she felt the glares the girls gave him. Will we need Cornelia? Hey Lin said, pulling out her phone, presenting it to Will. Will begrudgingly took the phone and started dialing Cornelia's number, and after a few minutes of calling multiple times they stopped. We need to find her, Terrane said, as they needed to do this as a team. Give me a sec, Naruto said as he sat down in a meditative position. What are you doing? Caleb asked as Naruto ignored him. Naruto, come on, let's go. Terrane said, not wanting to stick around for the slugs to find. Naruto had only charged half his full amount of Sage Jutsu Chakra, gaining the orange pigmentation around his eyes turn orange. Whoa, Will and Irma said, seeing the skin around his turn orange. What that? Irma asked curiously, but her question went unanswered as they saw the slug approach. We need to go, Naruto, come on. Caleb said as he and the others ran, stopping as they saw Naruto stay still in the spot he was in. Naruto, he yelled out to him. Go, I'll be fine, Naruto said as momentarily losing focus, but saw the slugs weren't approaching them, they were approaching him. Why the hell are they coming to me? He asked himself as he went to the sky and then realized something. CRP, my sage mode must be attracting them like it does with animals, he thought, landing near the others as he remembered all the birds he attracted when he was practicing sage mode. Hey babe, why are they after you now? And what's up with your eyes? Irma asked, seeing the orange around his eyes slowly fade. This is my sage mode, I was gonna use it to increase my range to track down Cornelia, Naruto said, feeling the sage chakra slowly leaving his body and still didn't feel Cornelia. Okay, what sage mode? And did you find her? Will asked curiously. Sage mode is when a person takes in natural energy into their bodies, gaining abilities like sensory, increased strength, and better senses, Naruto said, explaining some of the advantages and abilities of sage mode. Surprising the girls, and I can't feel Cornelia, she's out of range of my sage mode, he said as he couldn't do much with the amount of sage jutsu chakra he had, which grew weaker by the minute. Don't you have to be old to be a sage? Irma asked, actually curious. So you're taking in the energy of nature? Terrarium asked, fascinated by the prospect of nature having energy. Basically, Naruto said, as there were many ways for it to be described. That is like so cool. Hey Lin asked, thinking the whole thing was awesome. His eyes looked kinda cool, Will thought as she thought of the orange pigmentation around his eyes. We need to find Cornelia, any ideas? Naruto asked as they couldn't sense or call her, and they couldn't just wander aimlessly looking for her, as that would have just wasted time. What if those slug things found her? Hey Lin said in panic. If they did, she would have called us or at least used her powers, Naruto said, hoping for the best. They were interrupted as they felt a huge tremor followed by a loud inhuman roar. We may have not found Cornelia, but I think we found Mama, Caleb said as the street lights began to fall to the ground and the street began to break open, revealing the backside of the mother slug. Naruto, Caleb, and the girls slowly backed away before they started running away. That thing is definitely bigger than Katsuyu, Naruto thought as he ran with the others, thinking the mother slug was almost half a size bigger than Katsuyu. We need to find Cornelia, Irma said as they ran. And why the hell aren't we flying? She asked, just realizing that they could fly. Good question, Will said, holding up the heart, transforming the girls, taking to the sky. Better question, where the hell are all the people? Naruto said as he hadn't seen a person panic or the cops anywhere, which confused him from the mother slug's size, the damage she's done, the tremor she caused, and the roar she let out. Worry about that later. Where could Cornelia be? Terrarium asked nervously as they couldn't fight the mother without her. What about the music store? Caleb asked, making the others curious. It's closed, Will said as it was late at night. Why would she be there? Naruto asked, wondering what his reasons were. Last time I saw her she was listening to music, Caleb said, making Terrarium have a sudden look of realization. Wait a minute, music, K-drip, right? Terrarium asked Irma, knowing she listened to all sorts of music and had listened to some of the same music stations as Cornelia. Right. Yeah, she loves the boohoo ballads. Oh, I wish you would not leave me, Irma said, remembering a few. Where's the transmitter? Terrarium said, grabbing Irma's shoulder desperately as she wanted to be done with the slugs. K-Street, let's go. Will said as they flew to the station. Few minutes later. Move, I'm breaking this door down, Naruto said as Caleb banged on the door. Naruto raised his hand up, ready to use the universal pull. Wait, let's just call the DJ, Hey Lin said, not wanting to break into a place with security cameras. K-Drips, who recorded It's the Same songs every night from 6 to 10. After this comes My Heart Breaks for You, then My Heart Aches for You, Will said, getting curious looks from Naruto and Irma. You actually know this? Irma asked curiously, wondering how Will knew this. Sappy music goes perfect with being grounded, Will said, rubbing the back of her head similar to Naruto when he is nervous. We can break into the building and patch into the signal, Caleb said, hoping his knowledge of technology was right and he was using the correct words. With what are shoelaces and some gum? Irma said as they didn't have the equipment to do what he said. It doesn't have any windows and Cornelia's the only one who can move bricks, she said, bringing up another flaw in his plan. There must be a way. There has to be. Cornelia is one of us, somehow we've gotta be able to reach her without her. W.I.T.C.H is just. Will said, not knowing what else to say. At least she now knows the importance of the bond they all share, Naruto thought, proud of his girlfriend. In the distance. It seems they could use a hand, the woman in the pink kimono thought as she closed her eyes and focused. Back with the others. W.I.T.C.H, Irma said, covering the C in W.I.T.C.H on her backpack. Then suddenly Will's bag starts to vibrate. Will, did you set your backpack on vibrate? She asked curiously, a little weirded out by it. Will took off her backpack and opened it, taking out the heart of Candrakar, which shined. What's it doing? She asked as they heard the radio station give microphone-like feedback. You're on the air, Will. Hey, Lin said in realization. Hi, sorry to break into a real zippy set, but I have a dedication going out to my friend Dash, Will was saying over the air. Alchemy's house. At least I hope she is. Cornelia. Cornelia, if you're listening, it's Will said, surprising Cornelia as she was surprised hearing Will's voice over the air. I'm sorry that we fought and I let you go without more of a fight. Listen, the girls and I are in trouble and we really need you, she said, desperately wanting her friend back. Meet us where you told us you learned to ride your bike and prepared to be on guard, Irma said over the air as Cornelia looked out the window to see slugs on the other side of Alchemy's window, so she says a quick goodbye to Alchemy and quickly rode her bike to help Naruto and the girls. Fortress-like temple in an unknown location. Something's wrong, Luba thought as she could feel her hold on the Earth Guardian begin to slip as she looked at her aura mirror. Back with the others. I hope it went in sideways, Irma said, hoping she was right as she and the others looked at a massive hole that Blunk showed them. I don't think that would change anything, Naruto said, as he could tell just from the brief glance they got of the mother slug was that she was huge. I thought I was freak before, turns out I was just semi-freak because now I am freaky freaked. Terrarium said, grabbing hold of Naruto. Why am I the one they grab onto? Naruto thought, not really bothered, just curious. How long is it? Hey, Lin, asked Caleb, wanting to know the slug size. I've never seen one completely out of its hole, Caleb said, a little afraid as this would be the first time fighting something of this size. DMN, I need to fight this thing and I can't use my Rinnegan or Raisin Shuriken as it would cause too much damage and Sage Mode attracts these things, so that's out, which means I have only option, Naruto thought, hating the final option he had left, but would do it if he had to if it meant he'd be able to protect his friends and save other people's lives. Naruto and the others were brought out of their thoughts as they heard Blunk made frightened noises, which made the others look to where he was looking and saw the shadow of something huge. Everyone ran in a different direction to get away from the colossal creature, but before they all could get away the creature shot out a tentacle which got a hold of Terrarium, pulling her away. Terrarium! Naruto yelled, knowing now was the time to use his last resort. Inside the seal. The Nine Tails could be seen laying behind the prison bars and the seal looking like he was asleep, and when Naruto appeared he opened his eyes halfway. What do you want, brat? He asked, wondering what he want. I need your help, Naruto said, looking at the fox without an ounce of fear. And why should I help you? The Nine Tails asked, wondering why his host would think he would help him with anything besides training in his Rinnegan or their survival. "'Cause if you don't we die," Naruto said, getting the fox's attention. "There's something out there that I can't fight without your chakra, 'cause I can't use any of my regular modes or attacks, so please help me," he said almost beggingly. The fox was surprised as this was the first time any of his hosts ever asked for his chakra, and never so humbly. Sure, he didn't care about the lives of humans and would have just let them die, but he cared for his own and he would never admit it. But his current host was an interesting one. He was curious to see how far he would go and what he'd accomplish. "Fine, I'll give you 1 tail's worth of chakra, as that should be more than enough to deal with that," he said, looking through his host's memories. To see that he was facing a slug that was worthy of being in the same class as a summons. "Thank you," Naruto said with a smile as he disappeared. The Ninetales just looked at Spot. Naruto disappeared for a few moments after he left, not knowing what to say or think. Back with the others. Terrarium was being pulled toward the creature's mouth, about to be eaten, until suddenly its tentacle was cut and she was put safely on the ground, and when she looked up she saw Naruto, except he looked different. Naruto was in his clothes for whenever he went to Meridian, but the thing that stood out the most was what had surrounded his body. What surrounded his body looked like a red bubbly-looking animal-like aura that had the big ears and long tail which moved as if it were alive. "Will!" Naruto yelled in a loud calm voice, bringing Will out of her shock when she saw Naruto. "Guardian up," he said, making Will take out the heart, guardianing herself and the others up, taking to the sky, while stayed where he was and stared down the creature, waiting for it to make the first move. The creature sensed a dangerous presence which made it seem like it was an equal or greater threat. "Yo, Will, what is that?" Irma asked, wondering what the thing covering him was. I don't know," Will said, feeling some weird vibes come off him. "Well, whatever it is, let's hope it helps," Terrarium said nervously, a little afraid of what she was feeling from Naruto. The mother slug unleashed a loud roar, creating a large blowback of wind, sending the girls who were still airborne back. Naruto just remained still, not even fazed by the creature's roar, and closed his eyes as he took in a deep breath and unleashed his own roar, sending a shockwave through the very air, breaking windows and scaring those around him. "What is this?" the girls thought, feeling a violent wind trying to send them back. The mother slug grew fearful as it knew it was in the presence of something greater and knew it would have to fight, as it had no chance of escape, so it sent multiple tentacles straight at Naruto. Naruto remained still, not at all fazed by the creature's attack, and simply raised his red animal-like hand, and it stretched, cutting at each of the tentacles the mother slug sent, also burning them where its cuts were sealing its wounds. The mother slug cries in pain as it felt its tentacles be cut off, and in its pain-induced mind it charged toward Naruto, ready to go in for the kill. Naruto readied himself but was stopped as he heard a familiar voice call out. "EW Super Ick." Cornelia said, appearing a few feet away from Naruto, then noticed how he looked. "What the hell happened to you?" she asked, completely casual, even though she was seeing Naruto's current state. Questions later, Naruto said, happy that she was back, as he uncloaked his hand and sent her up toward the girls as he saw the mother slug quickly approach them. "Will do your thing," he said as Cornelia screamed when she was sent in the air. "Got it," Will said as she transformed Cornelia into her guardian form. "What the hell?" Cornelia yelled at Naruto as she regained her balance with her wings in the air. Naruto just ignored that as he saw the mother slug charged him and increased the size of his cloaked hands and sent his massive cloaked fist right at the mother slug's mouth, knocking out some of her teeth. "This is so cool," Lin said as she watched Naruto fight the giant slug. "Yeah, anyone mind filling me in as to what that is?" Cornelia asked as she was curious to what was surrounding Naruto's body. "No clue," Irma asked, completely serious. "Were you sure you don't know?" she asked again, not knowing who else to ask. "Not a clue," Will said, keeping her eyes on Naruto. "Maybe Corny was right about knowing more about him," Irma said, surprising the other guardians by what she said. "Listen, I don't know what that is around his body, but it's giving off some weird vibes," she said, feeling nervous and afraid by what the thing around Naruto made her feel. "Hey, not to interrupt, but I could use a hand here," Naruto said as he dodged the mother slug, using her body to try and slam his body into the ground. "You heard him, girls," Cornelia said as they flew in and started using their powers. Will and Irma flew right above the slug. "You ready?" Will asked Irma. "Got it, babe," Irma said, blasting water over and around the mother slug. "You're up," she said to Will, who sent down a strong blast of lightning on the slug, electrifying it. The mother slug roared out in pain as it felt the current of electricity envelop its body. Terrarium and Lin blasted it, either cutting or burning it. Cornelia used her powers and lifted up some boulders from the ground, bruising the slug. I wish I could do more," she thought, annoyed by how little damage she was doing. "Ugh, we can't keep fighting this thing like we are now. if we kill it we might be stuck with its kids, Naruto said as he fought the mother. Noticing the slugs responded to the mother like bees do to a queen in a hive, and when the queen died the hive found a way to either survive or make a new queen. If only we could open a portal, Will said as she and the others got together. We can do the next best thing, Cornelia said, having a plan. Distract him, she said to the others. It's a her, Hey Lin said, correcting her. Whatever, Cornelia said, cracking her fingers as she dived down to the ground and focused on the ground below the mother slug. The mother slug felt something and was about to move but was stopped as it felt something wrapped around its lower back, and it felt a slow but strong burning sensation. You're not going anywhere, Naruto said as his giant cloaked hand wrapped around it and kept it still. Cornelia, he called out her name, getting her attention even as she focused on lifting the ground below the mother slug. You can do this, we're right here with you, he said, surprising the girl, getting cheers of agreements from the other girls. Cornelia felt something swell up inside her as she heard that. She felt so happy and incredible when she heard her friends believed in her, and that showed as her powers responded to that. Every loose stone, pebble, and grain of dirt started to rise up, and as the ground below the mother worm started to rise she did something unexpected. She placed her hands onto the rising ground, lifting it up high in the air while she stopped using her magic. Fortress-like temple in an unknown location. The Earth Guardians Oromir, Luba said as the Earth Guardians Oromir grow brighter and become bigger like the rest of the Oromirs, but something else happened as the Oromirs began to spin around at a much faster speed and grew even brighter as they circled around and then sent out a blast wave of energy, sending Luba flying back, hitting a wall. But the blast wave didn't stop in the temple as it reached some mountains that were around the temple, stirring up a long-kept secret that has been kept buried in that land for a long time. Back with others. This is crazy, Naruto said, amazed by the strength she was using to lift up the ground under the mother slug, on top of the fact that the mother slug's own weight was added into that, making it that much more impressive. Cornelia then threw the mother slug directly at the portal like a projectile, hitting the target dead center, and as Cornelia gasped for air as felt incredibly exhausted and started dropping straight toward the ground. Cornelia, everyone yelled as they saw her drop toward the ground. Naruto dispelled his cloak and propelled himself up to grabbing hold of Cornelia, pulling her into a hug, and took the receiving end of the fall, protecting her from the harm. Naruto, are you guys okay? Will yelled, thinking that was a pretty high fall. I'm fine, Naruto said, coughing as he felt a lot of pain from the fall as he let go of Cornelia and let her go, letting her fall to his side. Yeah, we can see that, Irma said sarcastically, getting glares from the others and a pained laugh out of Naruto. Can you guys check on Cornelia? Naruto said, getting up with only a little trouble. I'm good, Cornelia said, getting up, her legs shaking a little from exhaustion. Girl, you're more than good, you were awesome. No, you were a DMN Amazon the way you lifted up that boulder, Irma said, amazed by her show of strength. Naruto was smiling, seeing them enjoy a moment together. But his smile dropped immediately as he sensed something, and when he looked back he saw that the portal was still open and a giant tentacle head straight toward Cornelia, and time just seemed to slow down for Naruto as he pushed his exhausted body past its limits and ran directly toward Cornelia and pushed her and the other girls away, receiving the attack and getting sent flying toward an abandoned building. Naruto! Will yelled out in panic as she saw her boyfriend taking a hard hit and saw him crash into a building. She looked at the tentacle that hit him in rage as she grabbed it and sent the strongest amount of electricity through it, hoping the creature that hurt the one she cared for would suffer, and when she was done she raised the heart, sealing the portal and turning the tentacle to stone. Will! Caleb yelled from inside the abandoned building with the others. Will dashed toward the building, forgetting at that moment that she could fly. As she was so worried for Naruto she forgot everything and was only concerned for his safety and well-being. Is he okay? She yelled as she made it through the hole he made. Will looked at his body and got her answer. He wasn't moving. He had a huge cut on his head, a bruise on his cheek, a few big BLD spots on his clothes, and a gash that was visible on his side as his clothes tore, showing the bleeding wound. Will wanted to scream but she couldn't, as the scene was so horrifying to her. Seeing his body in such a terrible state, she felt her mind build up with thoughts and her heart race in fear. "Sish, she said, not wanting what was on her mind to be true. He's alive. Caleb yelled, feeling his heartbeat calming down the nerves of everyone. We need to get him to a hospital. Will yelled in worry and panic. And tell them what? We can't take him there as guardians, and we don't have a car and can't leave him while the ambulance comes, and we can't bring him to hospital. He's injured, we'll kill him, Cornelia said, knowing they had to think about what they'd do. Well, we can't do nothing and leave him here to die. Irma said, wanting to do something. I'll call Grandma, Hey Lin said as she took out her phone. Hey Lin, unless she's a doctor, how can she help? Irma said, skeptical to how Yen Lin could help. Hello Grandma, we need your help. It's an emergency, we need you to bring the DLVRY van. Hey Lin said to her grandmother over the phone, then quickly hanged up after giving their current location. After a few minutes. Get him inside. Yen Lin yelled, pulling up in the van. The girls carefully lined him up with the van and placed him down flatly on the floor and then got inside themselves. Okay, we need to get him to the hospital. Will said, anxious to get him there. Bad idea, Yen Lin said as she drove quickly. What do you mean, bad idea? He could die. Will yelled at the elderly woman. Doctors ask too many questions and they call the cops if something's off. How do you explain 6 friends finding their other friends so damaged? Yen Lin said, taking a turn and putting the pedal to the metal and explaining the repercussions of their idea of the hospital. Then where are we taking him? Irma asked, seeing him breathing heavily. Irma's question was answered and Yen Lin hit the brakes, quickly getting out of the van, and as the others got out they saw they were outside his home. Girls, open the door, Caleb, carry him inside. Yen Lin said, basically ordering them, which they all did without question. As they got in, Caleb placed him on the couch to not further agitate Naruto's wounds. Terrarium, go to the bathroom and find a first aid kit, Yen Lin said as they would need to treat Naruto's wounds. Caleb, take of his shirt and jacket, she told Caleb, who did his best not to cause further harm. I got the first aid kit, Terrarium yelled, running down the stairs. Okay, we need to dash, Yen Lin was saying till she heard a small sizzling sound, and when she looked at the source she saw that most of Naruto's wounds glowed red and healed some of his wounds while cauterizing the rest that didn't completely heal. What just happened? Cornelia said, having no clue to what happened. Do you think it has something to do with that thing we saw? Irma asked the others, not knowing what else to think. What do you mean? Yen Lin asked, curious to what they're talking about. When we fought this mother slug, Naruto was covered in this red thing, Terrarium said, still confused about what that was. Yeah, Grandma, do you know what it could have been? Hey Lin asked, wondering if her grandma knew what it could have been. I do not know, Hey Lin, Yen Lin said, looking at Naruto in worry, but all we can do is have patience and hope the answers will come to us in time, she said, not knowing how else to help him. Seriously? Irma and Cornelia asked simultaneously, finding her wisdom to be lacking. Hey! I am not a fortune cookie, you really want answers, wait till he wakes up, Yen Lin said as she sat down to wait till he had awoken. The girls followed her lead and waited for Naruto to stir from his slumber. An hour later. Ugh, what hit me? Naruto said, waking up while also grabbing his head as he was having a massive headache, and as he did he winced, feeling a stinging sensation, and saw a few drops of blood. When he looked at his hand, Naruto was curious to what happened but eased a little when he remembered he took a blow for Cornelia. How am I home? Naruto thought until he looked around his living room and saw the girls along with Caleb and Yen Lin were all staring at him as if he was the center of attention. Guess after what happened they'd be curious, Naruto thought as he knew using the Nine Tails power, at least I'm prepared mentally, he thought as he was planning on telling them. So Naruto, what the hell was that? Irma asked, seriously, sounding way over dramatic. Naruto let out a sigh and became a little nervous because he wanted to be honest with them, but was afraid to tell them his secret as it was the reason he left his old world. Will saw him get nervous and sat next to him, placing her hand on his hand, comforting him, letting him know it was all right. Naruto gave her a sad small smile as he felt touched by her gesture. Okay, to understand what you saw you need to understand I'm not from here, he said, hoping they'd catch on quick. So you're from Meridian? Caleb asked, wanting to clarify his answer. No, I'm from somewhere else entirely, Naruto said, surprising Lin and Caleb while the girls looked confused. So you're from another world? Lin asked, wanting to confirm what he said, as it was impossible to travel to the other worlds and vice versa with the veil up, and if that weren't enough, Naruto did not look like any of the other world species. Yeah, how'd you know? Naruto asked, wondering how she came to that conclusion so quickly. Excuse me, a little lost here, mind filling us in? Irma said, asking all three of them. Well, it's like this, there are 5 worlds, each one completely different from the other. There's Earth, Meridian, Zambala, Aridia, and Kandrakar, Caleb said, telling the names of the 5 other worlds. So Naruto's from one of them? Will asked, not really seeing an issue. He can't be. One of those worlds is uninhabitable for humans to survive, while another is filled with a massive environment suitable for humans, but almost none ever live there, Lin said, thinking back to an old friend while leaving information about the 3rd world, Kandrakar. So the million-dollar question is, Naruto, where are you from? Cornelia asked as they were getting more questions than answers. Naruto let out another sigh and sat up straight. Okay, here's the truth, I'm not from any of those worlds, I'm from a completely different world, he said, dropping a bomb for 2 of the 7 occupants of the room. That can't be true, can it? Lin thought till she remembered the guardian's true name and for the first time wondered if there was truth to that name. Wait, they're other people like you, could they be of any use to the rebellion? Caleb asked, wanting to improve their chances of victory over Phobos, and more people like Naruto increased their odds drastically. Yeah, that ain't happening, Naruto said with a chuckle, making the others curious. Why not, babe? Irma asked in curiosity. 'Cause I don't know how to get back, and frankly I don't want to, Naruto said, surprising the others by how casual he said it. Why not? It's your home, Terrarium asked curiously, wondering why he isn't missing his home. It's because it was never really home, Naruto said, gaining surprising everyone's getting their complete attention. I have been alone my whole life, having only a handful of friends in a place that's wanted me dead, beating me as early as I could remember, he said, getting looks of shock and horror from the others. How? No, why would they do that? Lin asked, unsure if she would like the answer. Before I get into that, I think I should give you some context about how my world operates, Naruto said as he saw they were completely focused on him. In my world there are 5 nations: fire, wind, water, lightning, and earth, he said, starting out with basic history of his world. Like our elements? Will asked, getting their attention. Yeah, in my world people can use elements they are born with through rigorous amounts of training by manipulating their chakra, Naruto said, getting looks of shock out of everyone except Lin, who had been training in learning how to use chakra. Each person usually has 1 or 2 chakra natures. Wait, chakra, the thing you would start training me in? Caleb asked, now even more determined to learn. Yeah, you and the girls, Naruto said, surprising them and causing them to get all excited. So we'll be able to walk on water and stuff? Will said, getting weird looks from the girls. Forget that we could have a second element. Irma said, amazed by the very prospect of that idea. Wait, then how do you have all 5 elements? Terrarium asked, curious as to how that was possible. Naruto closed his eyes and suddenly revealed 2 completely blue eyes with a ripple pattern around a dot at the center. This is called the Rinnegan. It's something that was considered a legend in my world. I defeated the previous bearer of these eyes and he unlocked them for me to use. I just didn't know it. They allow someone to use all 5 elements and a few other abilities, he said, remembering how cryptic Nagato was. But got back on task. Like I was saying, in each nation has villages inside of it, and each nation is at the other's throats for past grudges, money, or power, so they train children from the age of 8 to HRNSS their chakra, he said, getting looks of horror from the others. Child soldiers? Caleb said, horrified by the very idea. Yeah, every nation did it. That's how I myself became a ninja, Naruto said, not noticing the smug look Lin was giving the girls from when they didn't believe her about him being a ninja. Wait, hold on a second, Caleb said, having a thought cross his mind. If you're so powerful, why haven't you killed Phobos? He said, looking directly at Naruto. Trust me, I thought about it, but if I killed Phobos before Elian might still have been taken, and they could have manipulated the truth about how it went down, screwing us, and that forgetting the fact that Cedric could have taken command, he just might have struck Earth for any number of reasons. At least with Phobos we know he won't do anything to reveal magic, Naruto said, giving Caleb the best possible reason he had. Caleb just sighed in defeat as he knew it was true due to Elian being manipulated as they spoke, and just thinking about how much worse it could have been if Naruto didn't have such insight and restraint. Wait, where were we? Naruto asked, losing his train of thought. You were telling us why you left your world, Terrarium said, her attention completely focused on the details he shared. And right, I lived my childhood alone, abused, and afraid of just being alone, I guess. That's the reason why I left. I was just tired of being hated and alone and wanted a second chance to have a life. But after everything, do I really deserve it? Naruto asked himself, not even looking at the others. Of course you do, Will said as she walked up to him, giving him a strong hug as tears came down her face as she heard him basically tell her about his horrifyingly dark, tragic life, and was in awe that she was dating such an amazing person. Listen to your girlfriend, Naruto. Even in these few months of knowing you, you have shown me and everyone here what a tremendously kind person you, and we are all happy to have you in our lives, Lin said, feeling truly lucky that she got to meet someone as amazing as Naruto. Got that right, babe, Irma said with a smile, even though on the inside she felt like CRP just imagining what he went through his whole life. Friends till the end, Lin said, holding back her tears from hearing something so tragic. I'm so sorry, Naruto, Cornelia said as she felt like a total B for suspecting him of anything bad or evil after time and time again, even when he did more than proved himself. Why were you hated so much? Terrarium asked, wanting an answer for why people would hurt a child and what possible reason they had to justify such a horrific act. Naruto just sighed as he would now have to explain his most well-kept secret. What you saw was the power of something that's been a part of me my whole life, he said, concentrating his chakra on his stomach, revealing his seal, surprising everyone. Nice tat, Irma said, making the tense situation a little less tense. Is that a seal? Caleb asked, seeing as it looked similar to the seals Naruto used. Yeah, sealed inside me is a creature that makes everything we fought against look like child's play. No, that's not right, it makes everything we fought look like ants, Naruto said as he knew for a fact the Ninetales could destroy anything in its path with no trouble whatsoever, as he'd seen the damage he did under its influence. Why is it sealed inside you? Will asked curiously and a little afraid of why he was chosen to have such a responsibility. It's because I'm a Jinchuriki, a person chosen to be a vessel to hold a beast of this nature inside their body, Naruto explained, as that was the whole purpose to being a Jinchuriki in the eyes of many, as they were seen as weapons, prisons for the beasts, and seen as the beast themselves for all the damage they have done when they were free or unleashed. Better question, what is sealed inside you? Lin asked, wondering what was inside of Naruto. A Ninetales, Naruto said plainly as he read a book on mythical creatures and saw how this world pictured a Ninetales, which made Naruto laugh and the Ninetales sealed inside him angry. The spirit? Lin and Lin asked at the same time. Trust me, he's the opposite of what you're thinking he is, Naruto said, wanting them to have a good idea of what the Ninetales was preparing them for him in the extremely unlikely event they met him. Fortress-like temple in an unknown location. The entire council had been watching the Guardians since the mother slug appeared and had seen Naruto fight and heard his story, which caused various reactions. This boy is a threat, we must act, a small bearded man said as he saw Naruto as a threat. He is a child who has done nothing wrong. Haliner said, standing up for Naruto. Haliner is right, we shall not take such drastic actions, the oracle said as he walked in with a slouching Luba who seemed injured. Luba, Haliner said, rushing over to her, examining her. Oracle, the boy is dangerous and comes from a world of war, the man from before said, hoping to reason with the oracle, and we can use the Orimirs to change the Guardians' memories so they don't remember him, he said in a whisper so only they would hear, as he did not want the Guardians' work to be affected. I apologize, my friend, but if we remove him or he disappears from the Guardians' lives it could spell disaster, the oracle said, sounding morbid. How so, oracle? Haliner said as she finished examining Luba. I had a vision as to what would happen if we did do that, the oracle said as he had a brief vision where he saw nothing but death and destruction. Then what shall we do? Luba asked as he revealed his hand showing the crimson-red Oromir she made. We shall extract the source of his power from this Oromir and see if we can restore the balance of power, the oracle said as they would need to prepare as this was the best option for the council. As the council mingled and discussed the oracle's plan, Luba and the oracle went to talk in private. Oracle, the Oromirs are no longer responding, Luba said as this meant she couldn't manipulate the guardians any longer. Even if they are unresponsive they still have a connection to the guardians, the oracle said seeing the best of the situation as he walked away and mentally prepared for what he and a few other members would begin to extract the power from the Oromir. Naruto's house. Okay, is everyone ready to start? Naruto said as he, Caleb, and the girls were in the woods behind his house. They all responded with nods as they were all excited to start learning to use chakra. Okay, now for right now I want you all to grab a leaf and focus on holding it on your forehead without your hands, Naruto said getting confused looks, and before you say anything it's so you can focus and learn to use your chakra and learn how to channel it in techniques and various skills I can teach you, he said knowing it seemed boring but was a vital training exercise to start learning about using chakra. 1 hour later. They're progressing better than I thought they would, Naruto thought seeing everyone's progress. Will has only dropped her leaf a couple times but was now holding onto it for a good 10 minutes. Irma dropped her leaf repeatedly but she increased her time by a few seconds after each try. Terrarium had dropped her leaf a few times but improved her control dramatically as she analyzed what went wrong. Cornelia was slowly getting it as she struggled with the leaf as she tried extremely hard to hold it. Lin was doing extremely well as she had held her leaf for a half hour. Caleb had a really tough time as he had only been able to hold his leaf for about a few seconds and dropped it countless amounts of times. Okay, you guys, you've gotten good progress in, so let's change up the exercises, Naruto said as he brought out a scroll he prepared for their training, bringing out some individual items. Well, I got you some light bulbs, if you add chakra to it it'll make it light up, Naruto said hoping their chakra had the same element as their magic. Thanks, Will said grabbing the light bulbs and started focusing her chakra into it, exploding it as she pushes a lot of chakra. Too much power and they'll explode, Naruto said as the bulbs would heat up and or explode if they received too much power. Naruto then walked over to Irma, go to the beach and use your chakra to manipulate the water, start off with small shapes, he said as Irma went over to the beach next to his house. Nice, Irma said as she loved to be creative when she manipulated water. Terrarium, go wet some branches and heat them up with your chakra, Naruto said as she grabbed some branches on the ground. Got it, Terrarium said going toward the beach. Cornelia, I want you to grab some rocks and use your chakra to change its shape, Naruto said as he had been doing that exercise to better his control over Earth since he knew only that, and manipulating the ground with chakra, making it take shape and focus on something so it's easier for your chakra to change its shape, he said as he went over to Lin. Focus on something, huh? Cornelia thought as she focused her chakra into a smooth stone she found, and after holding it tightly for a moment she was surprised at what the rock turned into. It was a rather crude version of Naruto with his smile and whiskers, which she then crushed with her new strength, making it actually turn into pebbles and grains of rocks as she was embarrassed and didn't want anyone to find out. Naruto could see how excited Lin was as she was jumping up and down. Okay, Lin, for your exercise I want you to go over to that tree, he said pointing to a big wide tree, and focus your chakra through it, thinning it after each attempt to make it sharper, Naruto said as he thought the leaf cutting exercise would be too easy. Lin went over to the tree and placed both hands on the tree, focusing her chakra into it, and after a few seconds she saw she made a thin but decent cut. Naruto walked over to Caleb, who was still doing the leaf exercise, and saw he had increased his time to a few seconds under a minute. How you doing? He asked, seeing Caleb's slow progress. Fine, Caleb responded in frustration as the leaf fell off his head once again. Listen, it's okay if you aren't getting it as quick as the girls, they're able to channel it because magic and chakra are similar in nature even though they're separate, Naruto said as he had learned to channel magic as chakra, and some people can't even tap into their chakra. A friend of mine couldn't, so he trained in every physical way possible and he is stronger than a lot who could, he said remembering Lee. Caleb was a little surprised that someone without powers could keep up with someone else who could. It actually inspired him to work even harder to one day reach that level. And plus, even if you only made it to a minute with holding the leaf, it shows you have a lot of chakra, Naruto said as he had similar problems when he was young since a person with a large chakra reserves had a tough time with learning chakra control. Is there a faster way to do this? Caleb asked as this seemed hard to do. I mean, there is a way, but you're not gonna like it and it's way harder and your control will get better, Naruto said having an idea come to mind. 5 minutes later. You're crazy, Caleb said looking at a boiling part of ocean at the beach in a bathing suit Naruto had given him. Hey, you want it faster, Naruto said nonchalantly as he heated up the water with a fireball. How will this make me learn faster? Caleb asked, demanding an answer. Every time your body falls in after you try and focus your chakra in your feet, your body will adapt and find the right amount to put out, Naruto said as he did something similar with Ebisu at a hot spring where he later met Jiraiya. And if it doesn't? Caleb asked looking at the small bubbling part of the beach. You'll probably get boiled alive, Naruto said humorously trying to lighten the mood but saw the scared and horrified look on Caleb's face. I'm joking, he said making Caleb sigh in relief but was still worried about the hot water. 30 minutes later. Okay, I think you're getting the hang of this, Naruto said seeing Caleb somewhat standing in the water as he wasn't standing above the water yet he also wasn't falling to the ground. Yeah, Caleb said sourly as his skin was pink from falling in the hot water multiple times. Okay, your control is somewhat good, so go get changed and grab your sword, Naruto said making Caleb look at him curiously before he went inside to change. 5 minutes later. Okay, what are we doing now? Caleb said in his Meridian clothes along with his new sword. Okay, since your chakra control is somewhat decent, I'll show you what even better control can do for you. Can you give me your sword? Naruto said as Caleb gave him his sword. Naruto focused his chakra through the sword showing it glow blue from the chakra he gave it and soon took a horizontal swing at a nearby tree cutting it clean off making Caleb gasp by seeing his sword cut clean through a tree. How? Caleb asked having no words. When a person focuses their chakra through a weapon it increases its speed, sharpness and strength of its metal making it harder to break, Naruto explained making Caleb look at his sword wondering what he'd be able to do with it. Its abilities are increased through elemental chakra. With wind its sharpness and speed is increased, lightning makes it even faster than wind and it has incredible piercing power. Water can become extremely thin and stretch out to extend its range. Fire makes it the attack stronger and increased damages, earth makes a stronger defense and harder attack. He finished making Caleb looked at Naruto in surprise. Wait, what element do I have? Caleb asked curiously really wanting to know. I couldn't tell you since everyone's is unique, Naruto said as he'd need chakra paper which he had none of. Caleb looked only a little down as he couldn't find out his element but was pleased to at least know his chakra could increase his sword's power. Now I want you to focus your chakra through your sword, Naruto said giving Caleb back his sword and watched as Caleb tried to push his chakra into his sword and saw a faint blue glow come to it. Let it come out naturally Caleb, if you force it it'll backfire and hurt you, Naruto said as he knew that people who did that could do incredible damage to their body. Caleb took a deep breath and relaxed causing his sword's glow to get a little brighter. There it is, Naruto said as he saw Caleb get a decent hold on his chakra. Alright, that's enough Caleb, Naruto said grabbing the tip of his sword but soon felt a small electric shock. How'd I do? Caleb asked not noticing Naruto's amazed look. Great, also I think I found your element. When I touched your sword I felt a shock. You have lightning chakra, Naruto said surprising Caleb who just grinned. Great, so how do I channel it through my sword? Caleb asked already knowing what lightning chakra could do due to Naruto's earlier explanation. Whoa buddy, you've made amazing progress, but you can't just channel lightning chakra like that. I'm amazed you could even let out a small spark to begin with, Naruto said, confused, as it took training to even let out a person's element with chakra, and since Caleb had no magic of his own it made him curious as to how he had even done it to begin with. Okay, so how do I start? Caleb asked impatiently. Same as well, I'll get you some light bulbs for you to channel your chakra, Naruto said as he went inside with Caleb so he could practice with some light bulbs, as he didn't want him in the way for what he had planned for the girls. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 8. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story in author's pyrohelixdrago, KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.